Namaskar and a very pleasant good afternoon to all of you, and welcome on behalf of DELNET, Developing Library Network, and Cyberpeace Foundation, Ranchi. I extend a very hearty welcome to you all for joining us today at the DELNET CPF webinar, which is on one of the most important topics of our times on cybersecurity, best practices to protect your organization in cyberspace. We have our distinguished speaker of the day, Captain Vineet Kumar, uh, one of the most promising young enterprising and the founder, of the CPF, who has very kindly consented, to be our guest speaker of this afternoon. A person who holds a great vision with him, in establishing CPF and DELNET and CPF. Those of you who have been attending the DELNET programs and of the CPF, DELNET and CPF, for past nearly a decade now, we have been, organizing a large number of our programs. And indeed, it's always such a great pleasure, to have our associations and to, organize these events, professional events, for our professionals in the country and outside. At the very outset, I would like to place on records a very warm, sincere thanks, firstly, to each one of you for a very overwhelming response, to this webinar. Very nearly 1,300 people from across India and also outside India. A very hearty welcome to our colleagues, not only from different nooks and parts of the country who have joined us this afternoon and will also be joining in further, but also from countries including from Bhutan, from where we have a good number of our attendees today. So thank you very much. And we know for sure that it's all because of the presence of our guest speaker, Captain Vineet Kumar, who is one of the best known person when we talk about cybersecurity. He's more a synonym now to the cybersecurity in the country. And let me also mention that all of us, have been more concerned about, the cybersecurity. It's more a natural human tendency, to feel more secured and safe. And most importantly, the current pandemic has posed new challenges, for the entire humanity, and more so for those, who are taking care of the IT infrastructures, the digital infrastructures, whether it's in the organizations or in the corporate sectors, anywhere. Because what has been happening, in the last 2 decades, we have been talking about the digital world, the netizens, the shrinking of the world, the digital netizens and all that. But now practically we have seen, in the last few months, that how this entire world remained connected only because of the digital connectivity. And having said that, the most important part now, which falls onto those who are taking care of the IT security, whether it's in the organizations or anywhere, or as an individual even, everyone not only, wants to feel secured in the physical environment, but most importantly, everyone wants also to safeguard that the digital infrastructures, the digital technologies also remain well secured enough. So there are more and more challenges for everyone. And we have with us Captain Vineet Kumar, the founder of the CPF. And it's a profound privilege for me, Vineet, to welcome you on, we are the joint, program collaborators for this, but it's always such a great delight, to see you and to interact with you. And thank you so very much for taking out time, and firstly for joining hands with DELNET in doing once again yet another, a program together. So we welcome on behalf of DELNET and on behalf of each of our attendees today, we extend a very hearty welcome to you. It's a profound privilege for me, and also I welcome all our colleagues from CPF, who have been working hard with all our colleagues at DELNET, in making this program possible enough. I take profound privilege in making you all aware about Captain Vineet Kumar and of his immense contributions that he has been doing, both as a social entrepreneur he is, and also the founder and the president of Cyberpeace Foundation, National Anti-Hacking Group, NAG, and Board of Trustees, India Internet Foundation. Captain Vineet Kumar studied cyber Defense and Information Assurance at Cranfield University in UK. He is also an alumni of Cambridge University, UK, wherein he studied leadership with an enormous background and operational insights from having served at significant positions of Chief Technology Officer and Head of the State Government Agency Cyber Defense Research Center of Government of Jharkhand. Captain Vineet has an experience of more than 2 decades in the cybersecurity domain, and he had his humble beginnings to his social entrepreneurship when he founded National Anti-Hacking Group way back in the year 2003, wherein for the first it was the first social organization to work against cyber criminals and cybercrime, and had cybersecurity experts from across the globe working for a social cause when cybersecurity was a caveman word for everyone. He stands to be the pioneer of the concept of cyber peace among nations in proliferating era of cyber warfare when cyber competency has become a competitive advantage for the nations. India Internet Foundation is established with a mission and vision to build, improve, and support critical internet infrastructure development and create a platform for thematic, policy, and technical dimensions. Captain Vineet, also in the capacity of the member of various forums such as Cybersecurity Task Force of NESCOM DSCI, set up by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, has been a part of Indian government delegation to the foreign countries and member of Advisory Council of Public Interest Registry, USA, among many others. He is also a member of the expert group on cybersecurity, NCPCR, AICT, NCRT, Government of India, also an advisor and member of the expert group to government agencies, the UN agencies, the non-governmental organizations, and many more. I'm very happy also to, inform you all that Captain Vineet has been a recipient of 8 international, 18 national, 13 state awards and honors, which includes Forbes 30 Asia 218 semifinalists, International Visitors Leadership Program on Cybersecurity, British Council's Future Leader Connect, Internet Society Ambassadors, and many more. In fact, he is the one, one can see that a very young, very promising, and we feel it's such a great delight to see him for the past. And I must say, and place on records that Dr. Kaul had a great, admiration for Captain Vineet, because we had seen him, at least for the last 10 years, right from the very early steps he took, in establishing CPF. And Dr. Kaul always used to, appreciate him like anything. And, the lively discussions that we used to have. And he was the one who was able to spot that brilliance in him. And that really had taken birth to a very long time association that we had had been sharing with Captain Vineet and with the CPF. It's a profound privilege to see, Vineet, that how for the past single-handedly, with that inner desire and zeal in you, that how you have taken now CPF to the level wherein it is today, taking it more at an international front now, that you're working closely with all the leading international bodies, not only with the Indian governments and other agencies. And we really feel so proud to have someone so energetic, so young, to lead the country for the cybersecurity. Profound privilege in requesting you on behalf of DELNET, also on behalf of, let me be on the side of CPF also to request you, and on behalf of each of our, I could see that we already have got around 500 attendees which are there right now, and that shows a kind of an interest which is there. And we all look forward to, listening and, to get your very, very special expert views on these emerging issues, which is also threatening, the entire, and especially in the current, pandemic situation, wherein everything, the entire lifestyle has gone a digital way now, and more and more, its entire dependency now on the digital infrastructures and the digital way of thinking and doing. We really look forward to having, hearing from you about the best practices, how to safeguard the institutions, our own selves, from being, to remain in a cyber secured world. Over to you, Vineet. Once again, a very hearty welcome and profound privilege in having this, joining hands in doing this program. Over to you, Vineet. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's really a pleasure, as always, to be a part of such programs and initiatives, ma'am. And DELNET In fact, it has been our pleasure right from the beginning to work. And again, we started working on these small cybersecurity awareness programs, and things were very new, and people actually didn't had the basic concept also. So very happy that now things are
Yes.
taking shape. And now I would have loved to have those face-to-face meetings and interactions with everyone, but due to pandemic, again, it's all virtual. But I'm very sure that at least the message would go forward, and people will take the messaging to their institutions and also to the families.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you again, ma'am, for
Thank
the
you. Thank you.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'll quickly begin, because the tough task that has been given to me is probably talking about the subject in 1 hour. Well, I feel it would take months and months for me, I mean, to cover the entire subject, because it is so vast. Cybersecurity as a subject is so vast, it would take really good time for you to actually grasp it completely. But yes, at least I'll try within this 1 hour, at least some basic ethics, some basic security tips that one should actually immediately take forward from the talk. I'll try my best so that a messaging can go out for you, and you can have some basic tips and countermeasures for yourself to safeguard yourself from cyber attacks. So first of all, I would say a good afternoon to all of you. And this is Vineet from Cyberpeace Foundation. I'll just take few moments to just share about Cyberpeace. Cyberpeace is again a non-profit working on all aspects of cyber peace and cybersecurity. We work on the policy, strategy, advocacy, research. That has been the kind of work, and also inclusion. Let me not forget inclusion, because inclusion is a very important vertical to actually spread cybersecurity among masses. So we have been working on all dimensions. We are not bound by a particular geography or by a particular location. It's like we're working all across with all income groups, all genders, all age group, because everybody today needs cyber security, and it's not something for the techies, it's for common people also, because everybody is using tech. And again, thanks to pandemic, we have been actually shifted to a new norm where work from home has become the new norm. Online schooling has become the new norm. So this is basic 101, cybersecurity 101 for you, and I hope you enjoy this during the next 1 hour. So the mission vision is again a peaceful, its vision is the peaceful and responsive and inclusive cyberspace, and our vision is to work with netizens and institutions to facilitate inclusivity, security, stability, and trust. The four verticals that I already mentioned: policy, research, inclusion, and connecting all dots is collaboration. So we even collaborate with you all. We collaborate with individuals to spread the word about peace and responsible online behavior among masses. We align ourselves to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Some of the projects that we are currently doing under different verticals, like I did mention about working with different age groups, different genders. So we work with children, women, senior citizens, caregivers, especially able academia, organization. We collaborate with UN entities, government entities. Academia is, I would say, our core. Universities are our core, because we collaborate very closely with the universities to set up the centers of excellence where the exact actual research happens on cybersecurity and different aspects of cybersecurity and cyber peace. More on it later. I'll just skip because of the limited time that I have in hand. Some of the events that you see in pictures, the global hackathon that we did in 2017, which was graced by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, along with the other ministers from India, plus 50 countries. We had delegations from 50 countries who are part of the event. This year, again, we are doing the global hackathon, but it's in a virtual mode. As of now, 60 countries have already participated in the global hackathon on cybersecurity. It was open for the university students, for professors, for industry folks, for in fact UN entities, even diplomats. But now, in fact, the registration is closed now, and we are going to have the grand finale on 20th January, plus the final prize ceremony on 9th of February. Different events that you see in picture are events going on in universities. The next picture is at Punjab University, where we've been running a Digital Shakti digital awareness initiative. We constantly keep on contributing on different kind of bills that come in. We give our suggestions to the government. Like the photograph that you see was our workshop where we gave suggestions of the draft personal data protection bill. We collaborate with the UN agencies and different ministries to do law enforcement awareness programs. The next strip that you see is basically our awareness program with common people through Nukkad Nataks, road shows, through National Cadet Corps, and also to the judiciary. We have been also we are doing capacity building program for the judiciary. Our volunteer force have now spread across different countries. As on date, we have volunteers from 30 countries and many MNCs, again, academia, they're all joining us, supporting us. The students are also supporting us because they are playing the role of cyberpeace ambassadors in the schools, colleges, and universities, plus even the private institutions. And that's how a word on cyberpeace, message on cyberpeace is spreading across their networks. So it has been covered widely by not just Indian media, but international media. I'm going to skip this because I've already mentioned what Cyberpeace is doing, and Sangeeta ma'am, through the long introduction, did highlight about the work that we are doing, and we are very happy and fortunate to have DELNET as a very important partner for this mission on Cyberpeace. So this is one slide that I use almost in my 99% presentations, and that's what I show people, that how the world is moving, how the earth is moving. So this is the actual image of an earth of the world, but I would say the entire earth is changing now, and we have a new face. This was the old face of the earth, and the new face of the earth is something like this. The green dots that you see is all the connected devices. These are the Internet of Things. These are people, these are individuals, these are organizations, but you can see it's spread all across. It's probably more than that of a human population, almost 4 times than that of a human population. And this will continue to grow. This will continue to grow in times to come. Cyberspace, again, like in the normal world, you had boundaries, you had territories. Unfortunately or fortunately, cyberspace does not have any kind of boundary. It does not have any borders, and so that is something good, wherein we don't have any kind of boundaries set up here. That the space belongs to a particular country, but this space belongs to everyone. This space belongs to individuals, organized. This space belongs to us. So that is one good thing, but there are some negative sides. In fact, when we talk about actual cyber crimes happening, which I'll cover in my later slides, I would say cyberspace has good potential. I mean, the kind of technologies that are coming in fact, you talk about the essential technologies. In fact, the new tech that is coming in, IoT is already here, AR is already here, VR is here, blockchain is here, AI, ML, 3D printing, whatever, everything is here now, and the space is evolving, and new technologies are coming in almost every day. I mean, just today, in fact, I did not add as a news in the slide, but you must have come across that Tesla is also coming in India. So now, in fact, very soon we'll see driverless cars hitting our roads, where we'll have cars with AI, ML inbuilt, artificial intelligence, machine learning inbuilt, and these cars only will take you from one destination to the other destination. I'm sure in times to come, we'll have Uber, Ola, all of them on roads without drivers inside. It's all going to be driverless. Connected cars are already in. You talk about any of the new cars that have been launched recently in the past 1 year, they're all connected. So thanks to technology, it's actually doing some tremendous work. In fact, a lot of work has been in progress. And again, academia is the core for all this contribution and the research. I feel that's happening along with industry. And due to that, we see a lot of innovations coming in. A lot of good stuff about tech. Again, in India, again, a good news, 1 billion internet connections by this year. And probably it has already happened. We are going to surpass 1 billion. So almost size of the human population, we have the connections, internet connections. Oh, sorry, size of the Indian population, we have the internet connections here. So the number is growing every day. But with any good thing, there are some negatives also. with I like to quote a movie here. In fact, it's a very popular dialogue from a movie, Spider-Man. With great powers comes great responsibilities, and with great responsibilities, I mean, there are great challenges also that comes in. And I see there are great powers in tech. Uh, I mean, personally speaking, I have been living in this era, in the era of tech, and I feel if cyber was not there, then there was a huge gap in the entire world. I mean, there would have been a huge gap. Now the entire gap is being filled. A lot of things, a lot of areas where we could not have reached, communication would not have happened. But again, thanks to cyber, we are now connected to those areas, those remote areas, and something which we could have probably not seen or not heard, maybe is now something that is already happening. So there are a lot of good stuff, a lot of good things that are happening. But if we talk about the negatives, yes, there are negatives happening. The dark side of cyber is the cyber crimes, and a step further is the cyber warfare. So like I mentioned, the cyberspace does not have a boundary, but many countries are working, and in fact they're trying their best to build their capacities for cyber warfare. Cyber crimes are already in. Talk about any small country or big country, every country is facing cyber crimes of some of its kind. But now the next challenge that has come is the cyber warfare, where countries are attacking each other in terms of dominating the space, and also surveillance and several other issues are coming up. Cyber weapons, I would say, if you map your house today, your house may have a working broadband connection. Your house would have a smart TV, connected TV, smart refrigerator, smart washing machine, IoT devices. On an average, you will see that you have around 10 devices which are talking to internet. I'm talking average. In fact, there are many homes I've seen. In fact, a lot of people very fond of technology, and I see everything that they have in their home, they have digitized. Even the bulbs have been digitized. So the number goes up, the threat vectors increases. You have so many connected devices, but you don't have control on those devices. You have a IP CCTV camera, but you don't have a control on the IP CCTV camera. Somebody can probably hack it, control it, and may misuse your CCTV camera. And cases have already happened. It's not something that I'm talking that things will happen in the future. No, this has already happened here. So anything that is connected is hackable. This should be very clear to all of you, and you should make sure that whatever connected device you have in your home, no, it's not just the computer, your mobile phone, your iPad, your iPod, your CCTV cameras, your fridge, refrigerator, washing machine, you need to secure them all. And security, it's just following some basic hygiene. It's not something, cybersecurity is not a rocket science. For point number one, it's very simple. It's some basic steps that you need to follow, you need to implement. It should be part of your daily behavior, I would say. No, I mean, and these things should be part of your routine, in fact, implementing those particular practices. So I'm going to cover them all as I progress, but just wanted to set the context before I move ahead. So how do criminals hack is the question. I mean, there are multiple ways criminals can hack in, and I already given you a background. So it could be one bug that your phone has. It could be like one open door or one open window that your house has, and maybe the thief can get inside. In same way, in internet, in the cyber world, maybe you talk about a smartphone or a computer, you have thousands of open ports and windows. I mean, these are all virtual. Obviously, you cannot see, but they are virtual, which any criminal can probably open it and get inside your network, can get access to whatever content or material you have in your phone. So you need to be extremely cautious about whether you have any such virtual doors and windows open. And if it is open, you need to close, you need to patch those immediately without any delays. So like you see in the infographic, we talk about cities, smart cities, buildings, power grids, video cameras, cars, industry, aviation, everything is hackable, even medical device. So from a needle to an airplane can be hacked. And proof of concept already done. It's not something that is there in the future, it's already happening. What is the motivation behind attacks? Is basically that different kind of motivation. There could be motivation of cybercrime. When a cyber attack is used to just to steal money, the intention is just to steal money, it is called cybercrime. When one uses cyber attacks to promote political agendas, it is called hacktivism. When a cyber attack is used to steal specific information, it is called cyber espionage. And generally, I've seen cyber espionage happens with the academic bodies, the universities, generally the colleges, because of the IPs that they have. There are plenty of IPs with them, and a lot of attacks happen on important institutions, on institutions of excellence and eminence, and people try to steal, these criminals try to steal important IPs, important research papers, which they can further utilize. So library could also be a victim of a cyber espionage. Cyber warfare, when a cyber attack is used as a form of terrorism against a government. In pictures, whatever I said, this is what you have in pictures. All of these attacks have happened. Attacks on smart refrigerators have happened, and due to that, your Gmail login credentials were stolen by the criminal. I mean, when I say yours, like the general people, what they do is they configure their Gmail, but on the refrigerator, they log in through their Gmail ID, but they don't secure the refrigerator. Due to that, their credential gets hacked and the data gets compromised. So such attacks have happened. World's first cyber hijack, there's a lot of discussion happening on the MH370. There's a lot of mystery behind it, a lot of discussions happening on that airline, whether the airline was cyber hijacked. A lot of discussions happening, but still we are unclear what happened to the missing plane. But if you talk about technology wise, proof of concept, whether this is possible, this is possible. Videos are there on YouTube. You can check yourself how Boeing and other kind of aircrafts can be hacked using the in-flight entertainment system. It's that easy. That the experts have demonstrated. Then pacemakers, yes. I mean, it's possible to probably kill somebody if somebody is using kind of a connected pacemaker. Somebody can get access to the pacemaker, switch it off. Things like this is possible. It has already happened, and this news which I've shared is 2012. We are 8 years ahead of it now, so you can imagine the cases that would be happening now. Well, you talk about connected cars. Hackers remotely kill a Jeep on the highway. With me, there was a news on that. Again, a video is there on YouTube. You can go check and see what's happening. US report confirms Ukraine power outage caused by a cyber attack. There was a cyber power outage. And let me talk, there was a power outage here in India, also in Mumbai. This was probably just last month. And the report that has come out, there's one report that has come out which says that it was possibly a cyber attack. So things like this possible. The Interpol report, when we move on to pandemic, and if you see the Interpol report claims an increase in the number of attacks during pandemic, because obviously the things have moved on online, and a lot of people, the unconnected, have got connected. It's that simple, and that's how the threat vectors have increased, the attacks have increased here. And different kinds of attacks affecting individuals, organizations, in fact government, they're all under attack. This is the Cyberpeace Foundation research, and the last research that you see, the business standard link that you see, is something that was published yesterday, and even today it was published in the newspapers. So this was our research, where we investigate a couple of WhatsApp groups, a couple of links that people generally get. One link you can see in the picture, which says there's a part-time job. You can use your mobile phone to operate at home. You can earn 200 to 3,000 rupees a day, 10 to 30 minutes a day. New users join to get 50 rupees, waiting for you to join. And here's the link. The moment you click the link, immediately your phone gets compromised. A malware can get installed in your phone and can intercept all your communications. Forget about, maybe you'll feel, okay, let me check. I'll just see the link and मैं देखता हूँ whether things are happening or not. And if I don't find it interesting, I'll close the link. But let me warn you, if you're doing that, still you are compromising the information. You are compromising the information, you are compromising your phone, you are compromising the entire data that you have in your phone, your WhatsApp text, images, videos, in fact, your personal text, your emails, everything. The hackers have control to your entire phone, and they can, in fact, they have the capability to silently switch on the camera and silently switch on the microphone. So if your phone is idle, still they would be able to listen you, see you, and do whatever they want to. So that's one major concern. So any attractive offers you get, for example, Flipkart Big Billion Day link somebody sends on a WhatsApp group. This again we investigated just last week, and again there's a lot of reports that are viral. In fact, India Today to everyone covered the story on how this is happening. In fact, as of now, for majority of the researches that we have done, we have found that a particular region in China is where in fact people are trying to get access to the information of the general users. And many such researches are happening where the leads are being found outside India. The crimes are basically happening from, the attacks are happening from outside India. So some of these I have listed here. Zoom bombings and different kinds of webinar bombings are also common now because of some of the mistakes that we do ourselves. The mistakes are done by us of not properly configuring the Zoom meetings and webinars. We face these attacks, and the cases of Zoom bombings and other bombings happen. So certain things which we should know is how to patch, how to securely host the meeting. We have a guide on that. Probably I can share at the end the resources where you can get access to, where you can learn how to securely maybe host webinars, host virtual workshops, and how do you secure it, how do you lock rooms. So we have a complete guide on it. I'll be very happy to share for you to learn and take it forward. So phishing links pretending from WHO, there are links, there are a lot of emails, phishing links that are coming to us via social media and via email, claiming that click here, click on this link to get access to the COVID-19 vaccine. Now that there's nothing going on online, maybe again the hackers and the criminals are making use of the opportunity to grab your personal and financial information, so they tempt you with those links. So beware, don't click. I would suggest never, don't even click on the link to check what's behind the link. I would suggest stay away completely. A simple click can compromise your entire details, so be extremely careful there. Malicious domains and URLs, online scamming, phishing, phishing pretending from WHO, cyber attacks on healthcare sector, dark web scam during COVID-19 that has increased, attacks on critical infrastructure. I believe, and in fact, that is something that I'm currently also exploring, is libraries are also critical infrastructures. I have to check within the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center whether libraries are listed or not. But I strongly believe that if it is not listed, it should be listed, because libraries hold a lot of sensitive information, which again could be compromised, could be tampered. A lot of IPs could be stolen. So I feel should be categorized as critical infrastructure. At this moment, we are running a kind of a research. It would take some time for us to do a complete research, but our next research is again on universities and academia, where they are under attack or not. I have been getting a lot of calls personally. In fact, people who know me reach out to me about attacks. They've been mentioning about some of the attacks that have happened with their infrastructure, phishing, ransomware attacks that have happened with them. So they keep reaching out to me. So I'm aware that there are attacks happening, but I just wish to put a number to it, doing a proper research around it. And I'm sure we'll have your support in doing this extensive research once we go forward. Phishing related to online video conferencing is common. Misinformation, disinformation, very common. Fake news, again, pandemic has become a boon for those criminals who work on spreading fake news. In fact, a lot of individuals and organizations have been a victim of fake news and misinformation. In fact, the entire in fact initiative, the WHO has been naming the entire thing as infodemic now. They are not calling it as misinformation, but they call it as infodemic, that is being spread through these times, through the times of pandemic. So if a cyber attack happens, one question that I generally get is, "Mere PC mein kya ho sakta hai?" I don't think I have anything sensitive that even attackers can find interesting. Well, if you believe so, I would say you need to change your belief, because you still hold a lot of information. If not financial, you still hold a lot of personally identifiable information within your PC or your computer, or maybe your smartphone that you are accessing. I've seen many people actually store their passwords in the draft text, store their personally identifiable information. People also share, store some of the very intimate photographs and videos, which generally they don't share and make it public, but they just keep it for themselves. And that's how once the criminal attacks, if they find something sensitive, they immediately use that data against you and they start blackmailing. Sensitive photos and other data that can be used for blackmailing. So in that case, they'll tell that if you don't pay me XYZ amount, so for example, maybe 50,000 rupees, I am going to share your sensitive photos and other data within your contacts. I already have your friend's number, your colleague's number. I'll share all these information with your colleagues, your friends, and I'll defame you. And that had led many organizations and individuals to pay a big ransom to these criminals just to stop this happening. So be extremely careful. And make sure you don't actually say this thing that I don't have anything sensitive. Everybody has some or the other thing sensitive hidden in their phone or their computer. A classic example of WannaCry ransomware. I'm sure many of you must have been hit by WannaCry when one fine day you saw your computers are logged and there's a timer running. You have been given 7 days, and in those 7 days, if you don't pay money, all your data will be destroyed. This screen is the WannaCry screen. Now, the next version of WannaCry is also going to come sooner or later. Sometime it will come for sure, wherein it will be targeting Android phones because Android has a big market share. If you don't patch secure your Android phones will get logged and you'll have to pay money to access it. There's no way to recover it. As of now, there is an alliance that has been formed globally to actually get the decryption keys and research on that. But as of now, things are like if the encryption is strong, it would probably take years for an expert to crack that encryption. So it's better to follow cyber hygiene, keep it safe. And one more thing, if, for example, if the data has been, if you are a victim of ransomware, in that case, I would suggest not to pay money to the criminals, because many times people have paid money and still they have not got their files and a decryption key to decrypt the document. So be extremely careful. Just in case if you are a victim, or if you know somebody who's a victim, your institution, if it has suffered a ransomware attack, do reach out to us. We would be very happy to help because we are already connected to some of the alliance members, some of the antivirus companies who are researching on it, and we can try to help you to recover incidents or maybe systems or resources that is already compromised. This is your future kitchen room. Now moving on from maybe a corporate setup to your own kitchen room that you'll have in the future when you talk about smart cities, when everything is connected. So this is a future kitchen room with smart doors. You have a dishwasher which is smart. You have microwave which is smart. You have broom which is smart. Dustbin, car keys, anything that you see, thermostat, anything that you see in the room is all smart. So this is what, in fact, can be compromised, and a ransomware can be installed, and every device will start asking you money. So you need to safeguard all these devices that you see in the picture. Now there's an underground market, like we have Chor Bazaar for several other stuff. We have an underground market where people can pay, say, $5 to maybe bring down a university's website for 1 hour. So that is the cost. 250 rupees to bring down your network is the cost. If it's probably an attack for 3 to 4 hours, they'll hardly charge maybe around $50. Imagine $50 to bring your network down for 4 hours. For you, it's a big problem. To get your networks back, you're constantly facing the attack, distributed denial of service attack. But see, for criminals, it is just a small money. They'll just take the small money and they can attack and they can cause damages to you. If you don't have necessary controls in place, you'll be offline for maybe days if you don't have proper controls in place. Ransomware toolkit, you can see it ranges from $10 to $1,800. And let me tell you, $1,800 is some of the advanced ransomware kits wherein they also evade antiviruses. banking trojans, credit cards. You can get stolen credit cards in just $0.5 to $30. Cloud service account. Lot of things are there, and everything has applies. Talking about again, you can get banned goods, drugs, and all the illegal stuffs from the dark web. Even child sexual abuse material, which is banned, you get all the banned goods can be made available. Uh, if you, I mean, moving on to again securing children and young people, what are the kind of attacks that are happening with the children, with the young people, with youths, basically who are there in colleges, in universities? There are a lot of cases that are happening on cyberbullying, stalking. Their access to inappropriate material content. There are a lot of reported cases that we have got through our helpline. Child sexual abuse material, CSAM. This is one thing that people are unaware of. Many people actually unknowingly get access to maybe a child sexual abuse material. Let me tell you, downloading or watching child sexual abuse material is a crime. You can be put behind bars. So this kind of awareness is also not there, and maybe through your networks, I would suggest please share about it, that there is a difference between regular porn and a child sexual abuse material, which is there, which people don't understand. So India has very strict laws on CSAM, by the way. Cyber scams, phishing, child self-generated sexual content. Now, one thing that we have seen that the youths are born in the digital age now. They live in the digital age. The school do now. They're doing their schooling and learnings in the digital age. They get paired up. In fact, they get into a relationship online, and breakups also happen online. But during the relationship, what we have seen is youths and young people, they share a lot of self-generated sexual content, which can be misused against them after maybe a certain time, after the breakup happens, probably maybe in years to come, when the girl or the boy is getting married to somebody else. That is the time all these videos and photographs will start surfacing. So this is one major problem that we have been getting on a regular basis. And electronic addictions, yes, now it's very common. We cannot do anything at the moment because all the schoolings, classes, everything is happening online, but this remains a cause of great concern, where children, they are hooked up to internet, hooked up to technology and gadgets for almost 20 hours in a day. Again, a lot of, if you see the plenty of crimes that are happening with children and young people. Crimes against women, this is also on a rise again, and over the past 4 years, you can see the reported number of cases have increased. And let me tell you, this is just tip of the iceberg. Many cases here in India are unreported. People don't report cases. People feel, okay, fine. I mean, because the case involves somebody known, they prefer it's better to be silent and not to report it. Plus, they feel that if you go to the police station, police might not cooperate. A lot of things are there. So majority of the cases are unreported, but whatever is reported, in fact, if you see, I mean, the numbers are still increasing. Stalking, transmission of sexually explicit material, identity theft, cheating, obscene publication, sextortion also has increased the most in the recent times. So now let's take a break. I mean, I've been speaking continuously, and now, in fact, we'd like to run a poll. We have around 13 such questions, and the poll number 1 is: do you feel your institution has adequate cybersecurity mechanisms in place? Option A is yes, option B is no, and option C is don't know. So I would
Yes, it is already there. It's already, I have done that. I have launched the poll from here, Captain Vineet. It's there on the
sure.
screens. And already 16% of our attendees have also, casted, and we request them to come forward. 28% of the attendees have, as of now, given their opinion through this poll. 34%. So let's let them come forward. 38, 39%. 43% have casted, given their opinion as of now. 46. We request all our attendees quickly to do that, because we have at least 13 questions, that our distinguished speaker, Captain Vineet, may like to ask you. So there are 13 poll questions. So right now, yes, it has come, around 56% have voted.
So
I think we
shall
need
I
we
move on
will.
to the next one?
Yeah, yeah, no, let's see if, a few of them, they are doing that now, I think let it at least cross 60%, of the
Okay,
total.
great.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is right now, yes, Vineet, let me just tell it to you. 61% have voted, and out of that, 57% they have said yes. Yes, they do have, the question was, do you feel your institution has adequate cybersecurity mechanism in place? So 57% have opted for yes. 18% have opted for no, and 25% they say they are not aware about it. So 57% they do have adequate security, cybersecurity mechanisms in place. Yes.
Fantastic, ma'am. So shall I move on to the poll number 2?
Yeah, sure, sure.
One sec. I think it got edited.
So that's there on the screen.
Yes. While I just yes. So this is poll number 2. Does your institution have an information security or cybersecurity policy?
Policy.
Option A is
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah,
Option B is no. Option C is don't know.
so 36% have voted as of now. We request you all, please be a little more proactive and coming forward. You just need to, opt for any of the out of the three. Let me, Vineet, tell it to you that yes, we're just inching towards 60%. 60% of our attendees have voted as of now. And
Right.
oh, fine, 60% they said, 59% they said yes, they do have an information security, cybersecurity policy at their institutional level. 20% they said no, they don't have it, and 21% said they are not aware about it. So 59% yes, 20% no, and yet another 21% don't know.
Fantastic. Fantastic, ma'am. So shall I move ahead with my presentation, ma'am?
Please kindly, yes, sure.
Yes. One sec. It gets flipped. Yes. So talking about again now social media. Social media, I'm sure all of you must be on the social media. And if you feel social media is just Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, let me tell you it's more than that. And youth, I mean, young people, in fact, netizens are across different platforms. And that is one challenge that even the law enforcement has when it comes to monitoring different spaces and finding out the culprits or finding out the criminals who are behind a number of criteria. And let me tell you, criminals are also on almost every platform. Majority of the criminals, they use the unpopular ones, the unpopular platform, and that's where they communicate. Social media is again used to create propaganda. Many of these networks and there are many of the agencies which actually specialize in creating propaganda posters, messages. They're also specialized in distributing it anonymously on any social networks, share the content to as many as groups and as possible, and also advertising. So if you see, say, 1,000 likes or shares, 10,000, 1 lakh likes or shares, it could be something that could be planted. It could be something that could be done by a bot program. So don't believe on the number of likes and share. Use your own mind when you see your message, when you see any kind of a message. Now, a classic example of misinformation, disinformation is here. In fact, where you see one of the WhatsApp message that was circulated was दिल्ली में मेट्रो की खुदाई के दौरान एक जगह मस्जिद को में तोड़फोड़ किया गया, and messages like this, so which can cause a communal tension here. Some messages like this that you see, मुकेश अंबानी ने लॉन्च किया जियो का नया 4G फोन, फ्री में किए जा रहे हैं वितरण, जल्द बुक करें. The moment you click on this link, you lose whatever you have. I mean, I'll not say just personal info, but you lose personal, financial, everything that you have in the phone. So be wary of these offers, Amazon flash sale, or there are some WhatsApp forwards also running that if you don't pass this message to 10 more people, then you might die or something like that. People try to, in fact, create that fear factor also. So be away, stay away from such messages, stay away from any misinformation. There are sites like Alt News where you can go and check about the credibility of the news, whether it is genuine or fake. You can get all that news from there. Similarly, there was a case that happened with one of the organizations here in India, where in fact the rival company planted a particular kind of a campaign advertisement where it showed that the following burger had rat inside it, and they posted the picture. Immediately the shares fell down, and in fact the company had to suffer a huge financial loss. So all these issues that you see, in fact, there are plenty of issues like keyloggers, ransomware, spyware, social engineering. I've covered them all mostly, but these are different kinds of programs through which basically individuals and organizations are targeted. Social engineering is very common. So the best way is whatever, in fact, if you're part of certain groups and if you have certain likes and shares, a good social engineer would study you properly, your likes and shares, and then would start sending you targeted attacks, maybe attack of a specific kind. For example, you are probably posting about Goa more, so they will get to know that you're interested in Goa, and one fine day you'll get a link saying that here are some maybe a lottery where you are being given a free ticket to travel to Goa, return ticket, and that will tempt you to click on the link. So be wary of such links, and criminals are very smart. They study the targets first. If it's a targeted attack, there are targeted attacks also happening. So they'll study the target first properly and then mount the number of attacks. You might have seen such messages. Again, iPhone, maybe 10, iPhone 11 or iPhone 12 in just 4,999. That deal might sound interesting to you, but again, just one click can steal your entire information that your phone has, or maybe if you are accessing it from a university network, it can also compromise the entire university network. So never believe such heavy discounts and unbelievable offer. That's a advisory from our side. You might be getting pop-ups, like suddenly you're browsing a website and you get a pop-up that you need to install a latest version of Java, or your computer is at risk. Install this application to safeguard yourself, things like that. I would say the moment you get that, just close it, escape it. Don't react to that particular link, because the moment you react it, the moment you click on it or maybe press download, immediately a malware can get installed in your phone in a form of a APK, or a exe can get opened in your computer, and then it can lead access to the cyber criminal. So be wary of random pop-ups and fake cashback offers. When you Google, for example, this is again a common fraud that has happened with many. For example, they search on Google about Zomato customer care number, for example. There are many fraud sites that are running. They'll hold that they are the customer care numbers for Zomato or for Swiggy. And the moment you call them, they'll try to steal your information via call. They'll tell that we are sending you an OTP to confirm your order. And the moment you actually share the OTP, your money gets withdrawn. So they collect a lot of personal and financial information on the call. So beware of these fake customer care call centers. Don't believe on emails. Emails, I can mail from anybody's account to anyone. I can call from anyone's number to anyone. There's something called as call spoofing, email spoofing that exists. And now, thanks to deep fake, now I can even call anyone from anyone's voice. For example, I can call you from maybe President Barack Obama's voice. That's possible. From his number, that's possible, because there's technology which exists, and through that I can fool you. So be extremely careful when you do that. These are the attacks that even the libraries have caught, where in fact one fine day you'll get this link mentioning your access to your library account is expiring soon due to inactivity. To continue to have the access to the library, you must reactivate your account. For this purpose, you need to verify. The moment again you click on this link, again you lose your data. This is a small video on deep fake. I'm going to skip, but
in 2018, some of the applications precision, I think which they ever want, is a machine.
No, I'll just explain. I have to skip this video because I don't have time. But this is again deepfake, and in this video, what we have done is it's a clip from a very popular movie called Three Idiots, where we have Amir Khan as one of the heroes. We are replacing Amir Khan with Jack Ma in this video, and Jack Ma is speaking in Amir Khan's voice. So that's the power of deepfake, and that is what you should know, that never trust any phone call or maybe a video call which claims to be from XYZ person. It could be some random person, again, fooling you using the technology called as deepfake. So I'm just going to show a small clip and then skip this video.
एक्चुअली सर बचपन से चाहता था कि इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में पढूं, आज यहाँ बैठा हूँ, बहुत मजा आ रहा है।
So this was Amir Khan, and the other side of the window was Jack Ma, where these, in fact, it was done in one of our COEs at VJTI Mumbai, Centers of Excellence, where the students worked on this project to show the proof of concept, and here's the proof of concept for you. When going outside, please, I would suggest not to post your live locations, because it has also been seen that robbers also check Twitter, Facebook, Google Street Views before robbing any particular house. They have also become smart. So if you're posting like going to Goa to have fun with family during the weekend, during the new year, please avoid doing it, because that can actually compromise your security of maybe your house, or you can see the cases like this can happen. Plus, there have been certain cases where people have also been kidnapped after posting the live location. So be extremely careful there. One of the again hotbeds of the country that we have, a place called Jamtara in Jharkhand, which has become the cybercrime capital of the country. The entire MO of the place is people just make phone calls, say they are calling from XYZ bank and your credit card is expiring, and they ask you to verify. The moment you verify, they steal money. And there's a popular Netflix movie called as Jamtara. You can check that in your free time. Again, these interesting messages could be risky for you. If you get any such messages, do not react, do not click, do not do anything. No action required when you see this message. Just simply delete it. That should be the best advisory. Now that brings us to poll number 3. And if I'll request Sangeeta ma'am if that could be started.
It's done.
The poll says, yes, is there a person in your institution responsible for IT security, cyber security? Option A is yes, option B is no, and option C is you don't know.
Yes, Vineet, as of now, 32% have voted, 36% as of now, 40. Let it cross at least 60%, and then I will divulge, the findings of the survey. 49, 50, it has now reached to 50%. They have voted. Requesting all our attendees, please do come forward in letting us have the correct kind of an overview about the situation there in your institutions. 58% have voted as of now. Okay, so here goes the findings. 66%, 65% of the attendees, Vineet, they do have, a person at their institution responsible for IT security, and 17% have said no, they don't have any such person there in their institution, and 18% said they are not aware about it. So 65, the final findings are 65% have said yes, 16% have said no, and 19% they are not aware.
Fantastic, ma'am. So now moving on to poll number 4. Poll number 4.
Here
it's
it
not on the
goes.
screen, but it should be open. 1 second. Yeah. So
Just
it's yes. So do you have an information security officer manager? Whether if yes,
I'm sorry. Just for a second. I think we need, if we don't mind, can we have this? I think there is a little one skipping which has come, it has skipped one of the poll. Does your institution have a website, and have there been any cyber attacks against it? This is poll number 5. This is poll number 5.
Okay, ma'am. So I'll move on to the fifth one then. This is the poll number 5.
5.
Sorry.
Does your
Yes, here.
institution have a website, and have there been any cyber attacks against it? No, we don't
Option.
have a website. Yeah, please.
No, ma'am, please, after you, please.
Yeah. So first one is no, we don't have a website. Second one, yes, we have a website and it has never been hacked. Third option is yes, we have a website and it has been hacked in the past. And the last one is you're not aware about it. 53% of those who have voted, they are of the opinion, they have opted for number 2, that yes, they have a website and it has never been hacked. 7% of them have said that they do have a website and it has been hacked in the past. 7% of our attendees, they have encountered this issue of hacking of their websites, Vineet. And 55% they said they do have a website and then they have never encountered any such problems. 10% of them, of our attendees, they don't have a website. Maybe perhaps they are speaking more on their personal level too, rather than as an institutional level. So, but I think the major findings are that 54% have got a website and it has never been hacked, and 7% of our attendees, they do have a website which has been hacked in the past. Over to you, Vineet.
Okay, so shall we move on to the poll number 6, ma'am? Yeah. Or hello, Sangeeta ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Number
Yes.
6 is, does your institution have any password policies, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Fine. So let me launch this. Yeah. So this is for our attendees now. Please do kindly give your opinion about this poll. Does your institution have any password policies? Yes, no, or you're not aware about it? So 43% have voted as of now. 51% have voted. And this is now 57, 58. So here goes the findings of this, Vineet. 72% have opted for the very first option. That is, yes, they do have their institutional policies, the policies for the passwords. 12% have said that no, they don't have any such policies, for giving the passwords in their institutions, and 16% they are not aware about it. So it is 71 for option number 1 and 13% for option number 2.
Got it, ma'am. Fine. So I'll just go back to my presentation.
Sure.
So we are missing on poll number 4, 3, and 4. So probably I'll come back to it later. Poll number 3 and 4.
Is there a person in your institution for IT security?
Right, ma'am. This one.
Just for, I think, somehow this has been closed, I think we have skipped that particular one, Vineet. Because
okay, no worries.
since this has been closed, I think we have to, we cannot now
Sure.
make it open again. Yeah, sorry for this. Yeah.
So I'll come back. I'll resume my talk.
Yeah, sure.
And now just talking some basic about financial, in fact, security, and also security of your ATM cards, your PIN numbers. When you do a financial transaction, how do you make your financial transaction secure? So I again use these photographs in my presentation.
Vineet, can you just share your screen, because we are not able to see your presentation screen?
Okay, 1 sec.
The presentation screen. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Yes.
Sorry, I accidentally pressed on this one.
No
yes.
problem.
So talking about, again, financial security, how do you secure your ATM cards, your credit cards, any kind of transactions that you do. First is physical security is important. I mean, the way you keep it, you always need to secure it properly. And when doing transactions on an ATM, make sure that you check the background properly. So this is one sample ATM machine that you see. Now criminals are very smart. They are again very innovative, smart plus innovative. What they do is generally they install a camera in the ATM machine, which could be hidden, which could be in a pamphlet box, which could be over the screen, somewhere that they can actually monitor all the transactions that happen on the keypad as well as on the screen. So you can just see in this case, it's a camera which is there in the box. It's a wireless camera, and that camera is pointed on the screen as well as on the keypad, the digits that you enter while doing a transaction. So make sure that whenever you do a transaction, check the entire facility where there is no camera, or I mean, you also need to hide when entering the PIN number. You need to hide the terminal, you need to hide the keypad when you enter the PIN number. So be extremely cautious when you go. Always try to do the transaction in a busy area. It should not be a very isolated area on a highway, where that's where the criminals target quite a lot. But in a busy place like a mall and all, there are a lot of people going in and out, and that's where the criminals actually don't get time to install these devices. However, it can be done, maybe if not now, maybe it can be done in future, because they keep on, like I said, they keep on innovating. So you also need to check the entire environment of the machine, in fact the nearby, whether it has any kind of devices, any additional device, any additional slots. You need to be doubly sure there. So this is basically the construction of the camera. One thing that I have missed is this part, skimming. This is called as the skimming device. So skimming device is generally installed above the card reader. The moment you enter your card, a copy of the card has, if you have seen your ATM card, it has a black magnetic strip. Copy the criminals copy the black magnetic strip, the information that is there, into this additional slot, and then later on they duplicate the card. So this is one thing that you need to check properly when you go to the ATM machine. Check whether the slot is okay. It should not have any additional slot or any additional device over that card slot. Other than that, one bad practice that we generally have, if we go to a, for example, maybe a restaurant, after having food, we give the card to the waiter to do the transaction. We should always get the POS machine in front of us and then do the transaction. Because again, these kinds of skimming devices, there has been a gang, there was a gang earlier, and now also there are many gangs active. What they do is they have these readers installed. It can be actually attached to the belt that they wear, and all they need is few seconds for them to access the card, and they can make the entire clone of the card. So be extremely careful there. Also, the slips that come out of the ATM machine, please tear it and throw, because information can also be taken from the ATM slips. Again, like I mentioned, you need to change your card habits. Even in the fuel station, if you actually take the fuel, after getting the vehicle refueled, you get the POS machine in front of you and then do the transaction, rather than giving your card to anybody else. We have already done with this poll. We are done with this poll. Now we'll talk about simple. I've scared you enough, so let me talk about the way in which you can safeguard. Some of the tips I've already given, but some of the basic ones that you need to follow as an individual, as an organization, is something that I'll cover now for the next 5-6 minutes. So information security, this is the basic of the information security, and we call it as the CIA triage. And CIA means confidentiality, availability, and integrity. So you need to keep all the information that is there in your network confidential. You need to keep your networks available, and most important, the integrity of the information is also something that is very important. Whatever is stored in your network, in your entire infrastructure, in the cloud networks, should be correct. It should not be tampered with. If you talk about the information security management, the process of protecting information assets organization-wide, this is called the information security management. It is mostly comprises of policy, controls, ongoing audits, and above all, it is about managing and minimizing the risk, because there's nothing as 100% security. In fact, as cyber experts, we also cannot claim 100% security, that we can safeguard, secure your network entirely, because there are many advanced attacks, many kind of attacks that happen. So security should be a continuous process. It should not be something that I get my network's audited today and then I leave it for a year. Like I mentioned earlier also, you get attacks, innovation, even malwares get evolved almost every second. So you need to secure it, you need to patch it, you need to get your networks audited on a regular basis. Could you be doing something wrong? These are some of the common mistakes that organizations make. Point number one is no or poor data management, classification, backups. They generally actually backups is something that they generally don't take, and even if they take backup is just on the side. Now, a best practice could be, for example, if tomorrow something goes wrong, for something you can imagine if there's a ransomware spread inside the entire network, then your backup systems are also compromised. And in some of the cases, we have also seen that attackers target backup systems first, so that you don't have a scope to restore your system from the backup. So keep your backups off-site if possible, in a different location, in a different network. Maybe we would suggest in a different location, so that if there is kind of any kind of issues happening, for example, earthquake, floods, or anything, you have your backups at a different city, at a different location. Improper surfing and downloading habits. People download free songs from sites like songs.pk, download torrent movies, in fact, and then those torrent movies, those free songs can lead access to, can give your network access to the cyber criminals, because these particular programs and songs can have malware installed, can have malwares inbuilt, which can get executed once you install it, once you play it. Quest for free movies, music, downloading third-party apps without verification. This is again a very insecure practice. When you download third-party apps, it's not just for your networks but also your phones. To install a, for example, tomorrow somebody says that there's a very interesting app which scans maybe documents in seconds. And you would like that particular app, and you say, can you give me those particular applications? And the way you do is you install third-party apps in your phone, and then that's how you install it and then do the transaction. So that's an insecure way. Avoid third-party. Always download applications from official Play Store, Apple Store, or Android Store, and then install it, rather than taking it from some other person, or maybe from the mobile store. That's very insecure. Transaction on public Wi-Fi or unsecure connections. When you are on airport Wi-Fi, make sure that in fact you don't do confidential transactions there, because there are other people also using the same network who can see what kind of information you are exchanging on an airport, on a railway station, or maybe any of the coffee shops. So avoid that. Also, there's one thing called as juice jacking, a new kind of attack that has come. For example, if you charge your phones at airport, there are charging stations. If you charge your phone, connect the USB cable to your and then your phone, then it can actually, on the other hand, it can get the cyber criminals access to your phone just by simply connecting it to a charging station. So, and many of the criminals, again, innovative mindsets, what they do is they set up these small booths at public places, claiming that this is a charging station, come here and charge. And when you go to charge that, somebody's there on the other side to capture your data. Poor password management, ignoring updates. You need to update regularly. Password again needs to be updated on a regular basis. I will not say at every week, but at least every quarter you should change your password. At least that should be done. Trusting a stranger online, again, something that people generally do. Ignoring security updates warning, like the systems, websites, smartphone, any kind of security warning that you get, if you ignore it, you can actually compromise your security. As educational institutions, we should actually practice and train everyone in cyber hygiene. And when I say everyone, it is also the administrations, it is the students, students again coming from different schools. It's not just going to be the tech students, cybersecurity, because they are also accessing the college network. I mean, the other students from other streams and branches also access the network. So everyone should actually practice, and also we as college, as university, we should ensure that we train everyone in cyber hygiene. We should have an ISMS, information security management policy plan in place. Appoint necessary staff. Just an IT person is not enough. I've seen many colleges say that our IT head is also taking the role of cybersecurity manager, which is a wrong step. You should have a dedicated person in place to actually check all these policy, audit it on time, Get your audits done from a third party also, to just to cross check whether internal audit is okay, and also there has been no finding in the external audit. So you need to get it done on a regular basis. Audit from time to time, backup data efficiently, follow national standards and protocol, protect your against any phishing, protect your ERP and all the networks that you're using, your cloud networks that you're using, you need to protect it and regularly check for updates. Watch your digital footprint. Whatever goes online stays online, so always think before you post. When using emails, never open or click on attachments from unknown senders. Always verify email ID of a mail sender. Don't trust a display name. Display name could be from your vice chancellor, but it could be a fake ID. Sometimes we have seen people use smartly email IDs very smartly, where they probably, if your university is, for example, let's say Cyberpeace University. So what they will do is Cyberpeace, they'll add an additional E at the end. So it will be Cyberpeace with an additional E.edu. And you will feel that it's your own official university email that is coming from the vice chancellor. You'll trust that, and eventually you'll lose, you share important information, and then later on can cause damage to you. So one is this. Also, sometimes it would also come from the genuine email. It would look like it is coming from a genuine email. Like I showed, spoofing. From spoofing, I don't need a password of anyone. I just need an email ID. I'll spoof that email ID and I'll send that mail. So don't trust email directly. Always cross-check, verify, and then share important information. Don't share highly sensitive personal information over email. Whatever your email service provider is, review security, safety, privacy setting from time to time. Always keep a working alternate email ID, phone number, and other methods of account recovery in case you lose access to your account. Try to set up different email accounts of work and social usage. Avoid accessing email while on public or unprotected Wi-Fi. This is a sample two-factor authentication. Basically, you need to implement two-factor authentication any of the email services that you're using. It's one sample, like Google Authenticator is one form of authentication if you are using G Suite. Social media, again, be cautious of who you befriend on social media. Know their real identities. Click links carefully. Don't open a catchy headline if it looks fishy. Be careful about information you share on social media, including images, videos, contact info, location. Control the audience for all information you share. Be wary of privacy, security, conduct policies of all social media services that you use, and be sure to implement them in practice. Always be aware of what you are sharing on social media. Mere sharing of a post can subject you to unnecessary trouble. Like the post I was mentioning, the communal post, if you share it without verifying, you will land yourself into trouble and police will come looking out for you. Review your security and privacy settings often. Again, some additional security controls when going on the social media. Make sure on Facebook, on any of the applications that you use, go to the privacy settings. Make sure the privacy settings are friends only, or maybe the other could be only me. It should not be friends of friends. Friends of friends is very risky, and sometimes it can friends of friends, they might have added some friends whom they are unaware of. They might have added strangers in the network, and those strangers can get access to your network. Who can post on timelines? These are some of the settings that you can do. General safety is, again, try never to log on into any accounts or unknown or untrusted systems. For all websites you visit, ensure that the URL is correct. In fact, use HTTPS always when you open a website. Download applications and other media from trusted and verified sources only. Like I mentioned, Google Store, Apple Store. You should not be downloading applications from any untrusted store. There are no free lunches, and that's why I said beware of downloading songs from songs.pk. If they're offering you free lunch, there is something behind it, always behind the scene, whether a torrent website or a free song website like songs.pk. Well, I'm sure everybody would be on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, make sure that you have two-step verification enabled, because there are many crimes that are happening through WhatsApp. People will get access to your phone for a few seconds, and then they'll access your entire WhatsApp message on a separate devices through using a particular service called WhatsApp for Web. So make sure that you have two-step verification enabled. Lock your WhatsApp. Also, the settings, privacy settings that you see here, last seen should be my contacts, profile photo should be my contacts, about should be my contacts, status should be my contacts. Never use guessable and common passwords for any. Use different passwords. I've already covered password. When going to a ATM machine, check for schema, cover and enter the ATM pin. Rub the keypad before leaving. This is for your ATM machines. When choosing a password, make sure that the passwords are not guessable. Passwords are not easy to guess. For example, your dog's name, your mother's name, your bike number, avoid that, or your birthday. Please make sure that the passwords are not like that, difficult to guess. Intimate pictures, you should never share. All the crosses are you should not do. So intimate pictures, never share that. Never store that. Avoid storing that in your phone, because you never know when can criminal get access to your phone. Geolocation should be off until necessary. When you use Uber, Ola, or any service, you switch on the geolocation. Otherwise, it should be off. Add strangers should always be a no. You should never add strangers. You should update security settings on a regular basis. System applications should be updated. Review tags and mentions. Always review tags. It might happen that somebody is doing a crime, maybe posting a communal violence related post, and they are tagging you. If you don't review it, police might come looking out for you because you are tagged in that particular picture. So make sure that you check that. Login alert should be enabled. Login from public Wi-Fi. I mean, you should always avoid until necessary. A quick recap of all these things, whatever I have shared is all here. And I just suggest that if you follow these basic steps, I think that is what is needed to secure you, yourself, your family, your infrastructure, your university. With this, in fact, I'm coming to an end, and we come to the poll number 7. Ma'am, if we can please get started with the poll.
Yes, that's being launched. Has your institution ever been hacked, websites, servers, etc.? So here it is. 30% have voted as of now, Vineet. We're just waiting for others to come forward. So here are the findings beneath. 68% have said no, their institution, whether websites or servers, they never had encountered this problem of hacking. And 10 or 11%, it's really, it's changing a bit. Like 11% of our attendees today have encountered this problem of hacking in their institution.
Right.
So 10%, yes.
Fantastic.
And 70% they said no, and 19% they are not aware about it.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm moving on to poll number 8. Sorry for moving quickly, but just
No, that's pretty fine. That's fine. Yes.
So have you had any cybersecurity incident like stalking, bullying, whatever I covered in my talk today in the past year involving your students, faculty, or even the administration? So option A is yes, B is no, or C is you don't know.
So we have 26% who have voted as of now. Please kindly, we just want, you need to just opt for one of the option out of the 3 of the situation, whatever you have encountered in your institutions. Please kindly give us a very candid feedback about it. So here are the findings beneath for you. 19% have gone for option number 1. That is yes, they have encountered, such kind of an issues involving their students. And 65% no, they have never encountered such kind of a situation. And 15% are not aware about it. 21% have said yes, they have encountered, these problems of stalking and online abuse and other things happening with their students.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. So what to do when something goes wrong is, where do you go and report? Things happen with everyone. Things happen with us also. Whenever things happen with you, if you are a victim of you, or if you know somebody who's a victim, do go and report. Because if you report it, then only, in fact, police and in fact the administration would work together to solve your case. So always make sure that you report. Don't stay silent if you are a victim. Always go and report. And where do you go to report? Things have now become very easy. Every state, in fact, every district has a cyber police station, so you can file a complaint at a local police station. Depending on the nature of the offense, the police may register a FIR. If the FIR is registered, you are entitled to a copy of the document, and you'll need the document in the later process. The second option is, now this is something that has come last year and very useful. A Government of India portal. It's under the Ministry of Home Affairs, called National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. The website is very simple and easy to remember. It is cybercrime.gov.in. You just need to go there and you can report any kind of cases, whether it is ransomware, whether it is issue related to child and women, whether it is financial fraud that has happened with you, OTP fraud that has happened with you. This is the place where you go and report. If there's a crime against women like stalking, bullying, cyber harassment, even National Commission for Women through its website takes complaint. ncw.nic.in is the website, and once you open it, they have a complaint registration form which is right here. So this crimes related to women can be reported at this particular portal. If it's a crime involving a child, then all the child related offenses can be reported to POCSO e-box, which is NCPCR's official website. The URL somewhat is missing. Maybe I missed adding that, but it is ncpcr.gov.in, and on that URL itself you get a place to report. But this case, I mean, any cases related to children, whether it is cyber stalking, cyber harassment, cyber bullying, all that thing can be reported under the POCSO e-box when it is concerning a child. That brings us to poll number 9 now. We have few more polls and almost coming to an end of my talk. How frequent do you have cybersecurity awareness programs in your institution? Option A is once a year, option B is once every month, option C is once every 6 months, option D is no training, option E is don't know.
Once again, requesting our attendees to come forward and to give their opinions about this poll. 34% have voted as of now. Please come forward and quickly give us, because we just want to have a few questions also, for Captain Vineet. I know that, know for sure that attendees may like to also interact. So here are the findings, Vineet, for you. 20 maximum number, 30% have gone for maximum percentage, 30% no training, and followed by 28% once in a year they do the cybersecurity awareness program, followed by 23% who said that once every 6 months they do this, followed by 12% who are not aware that whether ever they organize such programs, and 7% they said once every month. So 7% once every month, followed by 22% once every 6 months, followed by 26% once in a year who are doing it, and 33% they said there is no training at all happening, about this. So no question of any awareness. So over to you, Vineet.
Thank you, ma'am. That brings me again to poll number 10 now. Can your employees use their personal smartphone for work? Option A is yes, option B is no, and option 3 is don't know. And during the times of pandemic, again, because the entire working is happening from home, I'm sure you would be using your personal smartphone or smart devices to access or work. So this question is very important.
Yes,
So
yeah.
make sure that you respond to this.
So Vineet, your what you thought is exactly what our attendees are also, are of the same view. 80% of them have gone for option number, the first option. 80%
Right.
they have said that yes, they are using their personal smartphone for official work, for work. 14% they said no, and 6% they are not well aware about it, whether they ever are using the smartphones or not for their official work. So 80%, majority, 80% have gone for yes, they are using their personal smartphones. And I think we need not to say much now because they know the vulnerability is also involved with it. And so.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So with this, in fact, I have come to an end, but I'd like to share some resources for you for your further learning, because I know 1 hour is, though I have extended some more time. Thank you, ma'am, for allowing me to
No.
extend it slightly further. but I want to
Vineet,
leave something.
with your permission, we have three more questions. Can we just quickly pose to our attendees? Three more poll
Sure.
questions are there. And
Right, ma'am.
we
Right.
just
Just
request, our attendees to really participate in this also. Do you undertake any information security audits in your institution? Just to get a feel that, what is happening in our academic institutions. Do you undertake any information security audits in your institution? Please come forward. 30% have voted as of now. We just want to hear about this, that how often, whether are you undertaking any such activity for information security audit, as being said by Captain Vineet, that these audits should be done regularly, and it's not only once a year or so. You should regularly keep a tab on what's happening on your systems. So here are the findings for you, Vineet, to know about it. 38% have said yes, they do undertake information security audits. 62% have said no. So majority, they are not doing it. 61% no, 39% yes. So thank you very much for this. And we have one more question. In case of any online security threat, do you know any government other emergency number to contact? Yes or no? It's like, prior to, hearing from our distinguished speaker, were you aware about it, that, there are government agencies who are offering, as being shown by Captain Vineet, that you can get in touch, with our national cybercrime reporting portal. You can report it. And here are the findings. 44% have been aware about this, whereas 56% have said no, they have not been aware about any emergency numbers or the government portal's information. And the last poll question, here it goes for our attendees. Do you have any DRP, disaster recovery plan, for your organization? Please kindly come forward and let us know about it. Do you have any DRP, that is disaster recovery plan, for your organization? Please kindly give us your feedback about it. We have 44% of you who have voted as of now. We really want many others also to participate in the survey question. So here are the findings. 35% have said that yes, they do have a DRP for their institutions. 65% have said no. Over to you, Vineet.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank the attendees for being so patient and also responding, because this is very important for us, so that we know what are the problems and where do we need to focus when in terms of working with the universities and academia. Because I know for sure that there is a lot of attacks that are happening on them, and with this, it will give us a very good insight on how to take it forward. I want to leave on one thing. In fact, though I've already spoken on a lot of things, but Cyber Peace core I didn't mention. So we'd be very happy to collaborate with the universities to set up clubs in the universities or colleges. Also, the centers of excellence, which can be actually started in the university. We already have centers of excellence in many universities in India, which is working to create a cyber peace, cyber security ecosystem. So please count us in if you need any kind of help, any kind of support, if you need any additional resources, if you wish to start maybe a dedicated course on cybersecurity, maybe a BTech or a MTech or a MCA in cybersecurity, short term, long term, do count us in, because we already have different programs and different modules which is already ready. It would be just plug and play, and we'll be very happy to contribute. At the end, I'll just leave with one particular slide, which is this is the COE model, which I was mentioning, the Center of Excellence, which covers everything from training to, cyber hygiene training, to incubation, to in fact also getting the industry and the government together to set up the right kind of a research ecosystem. Plus, we have different kinds of publication. One publication that we have done with CBSE on cyber safety, which can be one good book for you to share among the students to learn basics about cyber ethics. It's on the CBSE website. If you just Google CBSE cybersecurity, you'll get the link of the book. We also run different challenges for the students, professors, for them to participate. So these challenges, as of now, it is closed. It will open once again in the month of March for the next edition. So do look out for such challenges. And finally, the resources. what you need to do is on the on the YouTube channel, you just need to type Cyberpeace TV. And on the Cyberpeace TV, you'll find plenty of videos, step-by-step videos on how do you safeguard your Facebook, how do you safeguard your YouTube. It's all step by step. I had to rush, but you can take your own time, own sweet time on your smartphone. You can watch all your videos. Something like what to do if your smartphone gets hacked, step-by-step process on how do you find whether your smartphone has been hacked and what to do if you find that it has been hacked. So it's all there. It's for all your awareness. So now, ma'am, I'm open for any questions if anybody has. Otherwise, I'm done.
There will
Thank
be
you so
many more
much.
questions. Yeah, thank you very much, Captain Vineet. We won't be able to, thank you enough for this very wonderful presentation that you have given, sensitizing our attendees, and I could see that from their chat, conversations, they have been wanting that, this entire video to be, shared with them. So with your permission, we would just share the video with them. They won't be able to download it as such, but they can view it as many number of times that they want to view it, because it will further help in promoting, and safeguarding. Thank you so much for, there have been remains do's and don'ts in big capital letters, do's and don'ts, when we are in a cyberspace, the cyber hygiene, even some of these, things, I think many of us are not aware, like, on the airports, there's charging that you find the people in the long queues for charging in the normal times, charging their phones, using their, charging stations, of Airtel and others. And but how much is a vulnerability? And as you have rightly said, that anything which is connected is hackable. You have very, very rightly pointed it out. I think we need to, make ourselves, well more aware about it. Thank you so much, Vineet. It's always such a great delight to hear from you, to, the great experience that you hold with you, and also the great desire and zeal, with which you are working. We wish you the very best, to you, your entire team, in taking
Thank you.
forward, because you're making the lives of others, secured. And that's a very, very noble, work that you're doing. And we can assure you from DELNET that we are always there. And we would really be interested to collaborate and do something very exclusively for the academic institutions. And we really look forward to, So thank you so much once again, Vineet, on behalf of DELNET and behalf of each of the attendees. Now we are making the floor open for questions. So we are requesting our attendees, if you have, we would just like to have 10 minutes for interactions with Captain Vineet, who has been very kind and, for last 1.5 hours, more than that, he has been deliberating so wonderfully on the topic of the cyber security and how to, safeguard our own selves. If you have any questions, there are many, I could see that. Please, the floor is open now. Please raise your digital hand. Everything is digital now in the world, and in the new normal now, we don't have the, we don't ask to raise the hand. You need to raise your digital hand. So please do that, so that we can pass on the audio control to you and you can ask. We have Mr. Ashok Chaudhary, who may like to ask a question. My request to our attendees, please introduce yourself to our speaker and to everyone, and then ask your question. Ashokji, we are connected, and you may ask your question, please. Mr. Ashok Chaudhary? Hello? Mr. Ashok Chaudhary? Hello? I think he may have to do it again because there was some issue. I'm just going to Asmita Deshpande, who is wanting to ask a question to our speaker. Asmita, please unmute yourself and you may introduce yourself and ask the question. Asmita Deshpande?
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Asmita.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello, yes.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello, sir. Hello, sir. Myself, Asmita Deshpande, working in the Sparrow Institute. Hello.
Yeah, Asmita, we are able to
You
hear you.
mentioned,
Please carry on.
yeah. You mentioned one question, the number, dial number, speed number. What is the number actually? Cyber number, if you want to dial up, because we don't know about that.
Are you
Helpline number. Helpline number. Yeah,
helpline number?
because I don't helpline number. Any helpline number is there? Cyber security.
Yes, ma'am. So we have a helpline number. Let me just share it on the screen. It was there in my last thank you slide. So you can probably see this. Second. Yes, here it is.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is a helpline number, ma'am. So it's 957. There are 5 zeros and 66. Our website
Okay.
is cyberpeace.org, and otherwise we have an email also secretariat@cyberpeace.net. So if you need any help, any assistance, you can reach out on these contact details.
And one more question I want to ask actually, sir. Is this
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
ma'am?
Asmita, we have
Yeah,
not
some
many others. Yeah. Is it possible
yeah,
if we
okay,
come
okay.
back? If you
Yeah,
otherwise
yeah,
quickly
okay,
ask.
okay, okay.
Asmita, you may quickly
Yeah,
ask.
I just want to ask some few PPT can sir share with us, means some
No, it won't be a
important
PPT.
notes.
Asmita, you can well understand these are, we would be sharing more than
No, no,
PPT.
some no,
Uh,
not whole thing, because of some topics he explaining in that which security we want to did the notes and the and he
Asmita, we
mentioned,
will
sir.
share with you
Yeah,
the entire video,
yeah,
recording of
okay,
this
okay, ma'am,
entire
okay,
lecture.
ma'am.
That would be more
Yeah,
impactful,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
can
ma'am,
okay.
just would like to hear again and again, Captain Vineet, I think all of us would like
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that,
okay, ma'am.
So
Okay,
we
thank you,
will
sir.
share with you
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
video link. Yeah, okay. We are certainly
Yeah,
going to do that with the permission of Captain Vineet.
Thank you, ma'am. Just wish
Yeah,
to
yeah.
add, ma'am, in fact, we also have plenty of resources online on our Twitter channel, on the Facebook, and also the YouTube channel. So other than this presentation video, you will access, we have tons of material which you can download, access it, reuse it, distribute it. So feel free to please download it and distribute it in your network, in your friends. So,
okay,
So,
sir.
yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
What I would like to request you is perhaps, we will have our own communication with you wherein you can share with us all the resources that you feel that our attendees can do. And we would be
Right.
very happy to send in, with our thanks note, we will
That
send them across, the entire resources details, which they can really can use.
would be really
And
great.
even they can forward it to, their all near and dear ones, let them, spread this message off, and let more and more, the people in the world, gets more
Yeah.
secured through this endeavor. Yeah. So we'll be happy to do
Right.
that. We have
Thank you.
Badagur Ranjit Kumar who may like to ask a question. Mr. Ranjit Kumar, Badagur Ranjit Kumar. Yes, we are connected, Mr. Ranjit.
Good evening, sir. I'm Ranjit Kumar from Balaji Institute of Technology, Science and Warangal. Sir,
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes.
good evening, sir. Sir, how we find the hackers that try to attack on websites, right? How we find out those people? Is there any mechanisms that they can caught immediately?
Definitely, sir. In fact, there are few set of things. For example, you need to have proper firewalls in place. You need to have proper UTMs, threat management devices, WAFs in place. And through the logs, you can find out who is attacking you. So, in fact, and through different audits, again, regular checking of logs, and even these devices that is there, for example, UTMs or any of the threat management devices, web application firewalls that you use, they constantly alert you about any kind of cyber attacks that is happening on your network. It could be a DDoS attack, it could be a distributed DDoS attack, it could be a normal attack. So you need to regularly check. And there are different controls that are there. You can get even access to some of the open source SIM and other applications which are there freely available. You just need to deploy that in your network, and then you can actually see the kind of attacks that are happening. Plus, through the IP attacks, once you get the IP addresses, you can further investigate and catch hold of the culprit, provided that culprit is not making use of VPNs or any of the proxy servers.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you,
very
thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ranjit. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much. We have Baljinder Kaur, one of our attendee, I believe, from, if I'm not wrong, from Punjab, from DAV. Baljinder Kaur, Baljinder, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Baljinder Kaur, Baljinder, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? I think, Baljinder is having some issues, so let me go to our next attendee who may like to ask a question. We have Dr. Dr. Charo Prakash. Dr. Charo, my request to you, I would really like to hear Dr. Charo, the Assistant Director at NICD, National Institute of Communicable Diseases. Um, uh, Dr. Charo, I'm not able to find, an audio connection attached to with your device. And I request you, if it's feasible enough for you, to log out and to log in again, because there is no audio which I can give it from this end. So we would really like to hear from you. So in the meantime, we are just going to our next attendee, Chava Ratna Kumari. Chava Ratna Kumari, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Chava Ratna Kumari, could you please ask the question? Chava Ratna Kumari, we are having an issue in getting connected with her. Let's go to our next. We have Devendra Singh Chauhan. Mr. Devendra Singh Chauhan. Devendra, could you please unmute yourself if you want to ask a question? This is what happens in the online environment, because Mr. Devendra, yeah, let me go to our next attendee, who may like to. Dr. Rekha Chauhan is there, who may like to ask a question to our speaker. Dr. Rekha Chauhan, I have unmuted you. Could you please unmute yourself? Dr. Rekha Chauhan, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, Dr. Rekha, we are connected. We are connected. I think, Dr. Rekha, please unmute yourself. We got connected and again it got disconnected. Dr. Rekha, could you please unmute yourself? I think we'll come back to her again later. In the meantime, let me go to our next attendee who may like to ask a question. It's an alphabetical listing, so please bear with me. I have to scroll down to see that who all may like to. Yes, we have Mukara Prasantha Kumari who may like to ask a question. Mukara Prasantha Kumari. Prasantha Kumari, could you please unmute yourself? On the right hand side, you find this speaker microphone link. Just click to it. Prasantha Kumari, could you please? I think we are again having a difficulty with her to get connected with. Nidhi Satwalkar. Nidhi Satwalkar. Yes, Nidhi, we are connected.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Nidhi, we are connected. Please introduce yourself and ask the question quickly to our speaker.
Yeah, I have a question. In a Wi-Fi environment, maybe on petrol pumps, we give our cards to swipe, right? Can the speaker who will guide us on what type of measures we can have when we do this in a Wi-Fi environment?
Right, ma'am. So this is about the regular debit cards, credit cards. When you swipe it in a petrol pump, fuel station, or restaurant, are you asking about that? I hope I'm
Nidhi,
correct.
there is not much of noise from the background. Can you just ask your colleagues or I think the family members, Yeah, please, Vineet, kindly.
Yeah. So if I understood correctly, you are asking about how to use a card in a secure manner, and especially in a Wi-Fi environment now that NFC-enabled cards and everything is there. So my only request is, I did highlight in my presentation also that whenever you do a transaction, make sure that you do the transaction in front of you, get the POS machine in front of you, and also if the card is NFC enabled, you must see. I mean, if the card has Wi-Fi type of design on that card, it means the card is supported by NFC. So you need to probably have that card in a kind of a silver foil, inside a silver foil, and then keep it inside, because these cards can be misused. In fact, people can set up sensors across the road, and the moment you cross the particular road or a particular area, automatically money till around 2000 rupees can be withdrawn. So be extremely careful when you have these NFC enabled cards. And the best measure as of now, we might have some more measures later on, maybe a special type of a cover in that you keep the card. But as of now, the best advice that I can give you is wrap it in a silver foil and then keep it inside the wallet to keep it safe. And for the regular cards, do the transaction right in front of you. Don't share the card with anyone, with the patrol man or with the restaurant boy who is there, with the waiter who comes. Just do all the transaction in front of you.
Thank you very much, Vineet. I think many of us today, after going back home, the first thing would be to look out in the kitchen, the silver foil, not to, pack the food, but to get your credit card, wrapped in that, So thank you very much, for the silver foil solution, because we were not really knowing that. Though there are now very special kind of wallets, they say that, those especially going abroad, they say that, no, we have to go for and buy that wallet in order to
Right.
ensure that, same kind of in problems. So, but this
Yes.
solution, this Gharelu solution of, using this, and this must be an effective one if it's coming from our distinguished speaker of great eminence,
If
So
if you can spend some more money, I would suggest to go for the wallet. That's
I
the
should go
best
for the
way. But
wallet only.
thank
Okay.
you very much.
I
But
think
this
it's
is all
better
against
enough.
the fun.
Yeah. It's a 2,000
Right.
rupees at stake, so one has to take a very calculative measure. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, indeed, Vineet. We have, our next speaker, attendee who may like to ask a question, Mr. P.K. Jadhav. Mr. Jadhav, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and ask your question to our distinguished speaker. Mr. P.K. Jadhav, please unmute yourself if you want to ask your question. I think I have to now mute him because some connectivity issue. Mr. Prakash IN from Alliance University, Bangalore, our Chief Librarian, Dr. Prakash IN from Alliance University, Bangalore. Dr. Prakash, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself. Yes, we are connected, Dr. Prakash. Pleasure to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Good evening, sir. I want to ask one question that whether it's possible to incorporate cyber security policies for library resources. We used to give the access, remote access. So any chances are there to protect under this cyber security system?
Well, definitely yes, and this is something that you should do immediately, sir. In fact, the policy can be created. There are a lot of policies that are already existing. You can get the templates online, some of the policies that does exist, but you need to customize it as per your network architecture, the number of resources that you have, number of nodes that you have, and accordingly the policy needs to be created. So this could be done, and in fact, many universities, like you must have seen today, in the polls also many universities, many in fact participants did share that they have a proper policy in place. So slowly and slowly universities, academia, colleges, they are also implementing policy at the cybersecurity policies in their institution. And also there's a push from within the government also. The new cybersecurity strategy and the policy that is going to come up, I'm sure they are going to push security in a bigger way, and institution of any size, be it small or big, need to have a basic cybersecurity policy and plan, and also an incident response plan in place. For example, if something goes wrong, how do you react? What should be your response plan? That should be in place. So you should definitely do that, and we would be very happy to help. If you need our help, please count us in via DELNET. I mean, both of us, DELNET Cyber Peace Foundation, can be will be very happy to help you in creating a policy for your organization.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Abhinay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Atan. We have our next attendee, Rahul Kalbhor, who may like to ask a question. Mr. Rahul Kalbhor, Rahul, I have unmuted you with a request. Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question to our speaker. Mr. Rahul Kalbhor, Rahul, if you have, Rahul, could you please unmute yourself to ask the question? I have unmuted you from this end. Mr. Rahul Kalbhor, Rahul, I'm sorry because I think you're not able to do that. So I have unmuted you. I have muted you from here. We have Reena Santra who may like to ask a question. Reena Santra, Reena, we are connected.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. I want to ask one thing, that we used to get emails for threatening and all those prize monies and all those things. Is there any email ID where we can report it?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, that's what I did share about the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. It's not an email, but it's a complete portal in itself. So you just need to go there, click on, the cases, In fact, there are different drop downs, like I showed. There's case related to women and children, and there are general cases also. In the general cases, you need to report about these emails, maybe these mails that you are getting in terms of lottery or any kind of mails, spam emails. It can be reported there, and further action is being taken by Ministry of Home Affairs. Plus, in fact, as a social organization, in fact, we also get a lot of leads from the organization, like some of the busting that we had done, some of the scam that we had come across. This was forwarded to us by some of the institutions, and we took it further to investigate and finally find out from where all these attacks have happened, where all these scams have been running from. So you can report there. If you, I'm sure they would respond, and alternatively, if you want further help, you can also reach out to us for assistance.
Okay, and for email hacking, sir?
Email hacking also can be reported there. It's one-stop solution. The National Cybercrime Reporting Portal is one-stop solution. Or other than that, you have CERT, Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT, CERT India. There also, in fact, they take cases like this. But as of now, as per the government mandate, the nodal agency for any cybercrime related issues, you have the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, and from there the cases are taken forward to these states and other agencies.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Reena.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much. Thank you. What I'm wondering is, Vineet, perhaps, we would send across an email to all our attendees and even, to others, especially for those who have been, involved today for this session, even these emergency numbers, some of the common things that, and that which are going to help them. So one are the resources that they can refer to or further to get themselves, more aware. And secondly is, in case of crisis, whom to approach, like this National Crime Record, crime reporting portal or CERT in, because many of our professionals really in the institutions, they're not aware about it. So that would be a very helping hand. So I request you, if you make it just kindly, your team can work on that, and once you go through it, and if you can, send it across to us, and then we will write to them, marking you also a copy of it, so that in case of any further assistance, they can always get in touch, and we can offer our whatsoever possible support is there.
Right, ma'am. Just one line of information I would like to add is, ma'am, if, for example, any organization, those who have been breached, they also need to report to the government. In fact, it's not mandatory at this moment, but government actually advises them to report about a breach. And certain, and again, these agencies should be reported in case a breach happens with any of these libraries or maybe institutions. So that's the.
Yeah.
So I'll share all the contacts and connects, and accordingly you can share that in the mail that gets sent.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Vineet. We have Mr. Rishabh Jaswal who may like to ask a question to our speaker. Mr. Rishabh Jaswal, Rishabh, I have unmuted you. Could you please unmute? Yes, we are connected. Rishabh, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. I am Rishabh Jaswal from Rajki Engineering College, Bijnor, Uttar Pradesh. I want to ask a question, ma'am. What are the trending topic research for the cyber security field?
Right. So it's a very I would say broad question that you had asked. Sir, actually there are plenty of topics, plenty of areas where you could actually research. Like I mentioned, the space is quite vast, so you can take up researches like, for example, IoT security could be one such subject. Drones and autonomous vehicle security could be other research subjects. Similar to that, in fact, cybercrime investigation, incident response, even there is a track for the policy also. So for example, I mean, you can research on the international policies, cyber strategies. Cyber diplomacy is also one of the subjects. So there could be many such subjects. So you need to decide whether you want to research on the technical side or maybe on the policy side. And accordingly, it opens doors for many such researches. So you can also, again, just in case if you need additional help, some guidance here, you can feel free to reach out to us. And then we would be very happy to mentor you on some of the upcoming areas of research that can be taken up for you to take forward in your career.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, even Captain Vineet, I was wondering that Rishabh may think about even this, how this COVID-19 has brought in, this a new kind of and challenges, to this entire cybersecurity. So, and what is really has happened, because as we could see that, as you have also pointed it out in your own presentation, not many sites wherein they say you see the, COVID-19, statistics as of day today, and then you find someone who, who is behind trying to, steal the information, from you. So even this new kind of challenges what COVID-19 has now, brought in to the cybersecurity, and how institutions, the preparedness level even of the institutions to accept those challenges, may be something what our young researchers
Exactly.
may, like to dwell into. We would like to now take a question from Mr. Santosh Mane. Santosh, Vineet, in the meantime, I'm requesting you, you want to have a quick glass of water, because you're not there
Yeah,
around. I could have offered you a cup of tea, attending to our,
I'll
the
have it.
last 2 hours.
I'll have
Yeah.
it. Ma'am.
So that's what happens in the, and that we really miss out. We really look forward to, to the time, the normal times wherein we can have. May I request Mr. Santosh Mane? Mr. Santosh, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question to our speaker? Mr. Santosh? I think he's not able to. Let me just quickly go through. We have Mrs. Sheetal Deshpande from our one of our wonderful colleague and a most proactive library professional, the chief librarian at Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital and Research Center in Pune. Sheetal, it's a pleasure to see you online today, and I request you to please kindly, ask your question to our distinguished speaker. Over to you, Sheetal.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. It's my pleasure to interact with our eminent speaker. I would like to ask one question, that whether digital lockers are safe to store our valuable documents or not in these pandemic days.
Definitely, ma'am.
Lockers.
Digital Lockers, which is an initiative by Digital India, Ministry of Electronics and IT. It's a secure way to store your documents. In fact, the Digital Locker team regularly gets their entire infrastructure audited on a regular basis. And as of now, it is a very secure mean to, in fact, have your important documents like your, for example, Aadhaar information or any of the certificates that you have. You can digitalize it and then you can store it in that locker. So it's pretty safe. It's a government initiative. It's not any kind of a private initiative. So you can rely on that. And they're taking adequate measures to safeguard and secure the networks. The entire team of NIC plus MITI, they've been working very hard to secure the platform. And one more thing, ma'am. In fact, I'd like to, since you come from a hospital, I would suggest one more thing. In fact, whatever documents you have in your own networks, you might be using hospital management systems and other such critical applications. So you please make sure that all your applications are safe. Whatever documents you have locally on a system, I mean, that should be locally encrypted. You should have an encryption mechanism to safeguard the documents at a local level, and probably that same container could be uploaded in the digital locker. So that kind of stuff you can do, and make sure that if anybody gets access to the critical records of the healthcare sector of the patient, it's not tampered with. So you need to implement security at both levels, at the local level, at the network level, and also if you're uploading the document on the cloud or on the digital locker. So that needs to be taken care of. We have seen a significant rise in the number of cyber attacks on the healthcare sector. And this is a report that we have done just 10 days back. So I can share that report, and it's all covered widely. So you need to take extra precaution here in the times of pandemic, times of COVID-19.
Thank you, sir. If you could, please. And
Sure.
we'll definitely follow or think on your suggestions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sheetal. Thank you so much. And thank you, Captain Vineet, for really highlighting this very important issue that locally also to do the encryption of the documents well before we park those documents in our digital lockers and other places. So it's like a double security layer that we have, so one local encryption and further on. And thank you so very much for sharing, very valuable insights, because not many, like I don't think anyone has been aware about these. I would now like to ask Shubham Singh. It's Shubham Singh. I'm extremely sorry. It's Mr. Shubham Singh. Shubham,
Yes,
please
yes.
introduce yourself and ask your question to our distinguished speaker, please.
Hello, Vineet sir. Hello, ma'am. My name is Shubham Singh, and I am from Rajkir Engineering College, Bijnor. My question is to Vineet sir is that we are saying that a student, very little age students, and from class 6th and onwards, they are now exploring to a coding world and the background of coding. What is your perspective of seeing that student or a small student just like of class 6th and 7th having know the knowledge of coding but don't know the right knowledge of ethics, just like giving him a knife and teaching him how to cut a apple, but he can also harm his own and others from that knife. So what do you think that giving the knowledge of coding to a student of class 6th and 7th, it is good for our society or something? And what is your perspective? I want to know that.
Shubham, bang on. I mean, you brought a very important point. Uh, Technology has been introduced at the early stages, and we should know. I mean, this same technology could be weaponized also. So we should know the ethics, and that's why, in fact, if you see Central Bureau of Secondary Education (CBSE) in collaboration with Cyberpeace Foundation, we had introduced a complete handbook about do's and don'ts, and there's a very important module on cyber ethics, basic cyber morals that one needs to follow. Like when we were studying, we were taught about the right thing or the wrong thing. I mean, the good touch, bad touch, a lot of things like that in the early stages. Same way in the cyberspace. Now, in fact, this is just a recent development, just 3 months back, and CBSE is pushing it hard so that it reaches all across in the CBSE affiliated schools. And we are trying our best. We're speaking to the state governments now. We are in touch with the Rajasthan government. We're in touch with the Punjab government, where the translated version of these books are also pushing out in these government affiliated schools, so that it reaches every student and they know basics. They know about the cyber ethics that they have to follow, and they know the boundaries. Most important, that what is their limit, what can be done by them. For example, simple stuff like you cannot tag anybody without a permission is something that people don't know. So we are talking about things as basic as that, and we are talking about DevSecOps, about entire what are the things that you need to consider when you are coding an application, what kind of measures you need to undertake when you're coding an application, and knowing your boundaries is most important. And that is what we are trying to push, we are trying to teach. It is going to take some time. I mean, I'll not say that we have everything ready. It's going to take some time because things have been advanced. We were expecting these virtual platforms and virtual mode of education probably 3 to 4 years, 5 years down the line, but everything has been advanced now. So this has come as a challenge, and I'm sure right kind of steps are being taken by the ministries. Also with Ministry of IT, Ministry of Education, they're pushing quite a lot so that right kind of message gets pushed and cyber ethics gets incorporated at a very early formative stages. This is bound to happen in some point of time where everybody knows about basics of cyber ethics.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Captain Vineet, and thank you very much, Shubham, for asking a question which holds a really something. I think the policymakers may like to, look into that, and thank you very much for raising this very, very important question, to our speaker. And thank you so much, Captain Vineet, for responding also so well. We have Mr. Vimal Kumar Varun, who may like to ask a question. No one wants to lose this opportunity to interact with you, Captain Vineet. And thank you so
My
very
pleasure.
much for being so accommodative. And it's really indeed a great pleasure. Vimal, can I request you please introduce yourself and you may ask the question to our speaker, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta.
Please.
And thank you, Captain. I am audible?
Yeah, very much,
Yes,
Vimalji, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I am Vimal Kumar Varun. I am CISO at Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. I just want to supplement two more things. One is that when somebody asks about the National Crime Helpline number, it is 155260. And second thing regarding the information security policy, the templates are available on certain website. And third thing is that when we refer to the DigiLocker, In addition to uploading your own documents securely on DigiLocker, DigiLocker also provides an option to download your data or download your PAN card or Aadhaar card or your RCs or your driving licenses. There are a couple of them are there, including your mark sheets and other things. This is just for updating the attendees. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so very much, Vimalji. We are greatly thankful to you. And just to, reconfirm the number that you said, 15560, right? So it's like a
260.
toll, 155.
155 260.
And this is like a, landline number means it's a toll-free number.
Is a helpline number which is accessible from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Asha, that's really so wonderful. So this is for all our attendees. Thank you so much for, adding so much of great value, to this discussions that we are having. 155 260. Dr. Vimal Kumar Varunji from DST. If
Yes.
it's a great
Yeah,
pleasure.
I'm from DSIR. I am from DSIR.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's a pleasure for us to have you, Vimalji, with us today, and thank you so much for joining us.
And I was closely associated with DELNET starting from 1990.
Yes, Varunji, I was able to, relate that. When I saw your name and you said DSIR, I was able to feel that very much. And that's the time when Mrs. Ravindran was also there,
Yes. Dr.
Ravindran
Larry
was, yes, Dr. Larry, yes. Thank you
We
so
started
much.
this activity. I attended a lot of meetings at your IIC campus when initially it was.
I'm able to, it's really so wonderful to get connected, after, quarter a century, around, I think after 25 years, to get reconnected with you. And and we must thank Captain Vineet for making this happen. And thank you so much.
And I like to thank Captain Vineet for such an useful, comprehensive, useful information which most of the people are not aware of. I am just aware of because I am looking after information security activities as a chief information security officer, and that is why I'm aware of. Otherwise, most of the people, even in government departments, there is a lack of awareness is available. There is not there. So
thank you so much,
timely seminar.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and we may like to hold a webinar by you, on some of the topic,
I have expertise on IPR. I do lectures. I do give lectures on IPR, patent searching particularly, and technology landscaping, etc., etc.
Asha, that's great. So I'm going to then approach you very shortly,
No.
So it's a pleasure,
Thank you.
And it's indeed a pleasure to get connected with you. I'm really so very happy, and thank you so very much indeed for joining us.
We'll discuss it offline also, no problem.
Yeah, surely, Varunji, positively. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you.
Truly grateful to you for your presence today, Vimalji. Thank you very much. We would now, it's indeed a pleasure, and thank you so much, Captain Vineet, for making us to get reconnected with our officials with whom we have been dealing, in the early stages of DELNET, means 1992. This is the phase of 92. Between 92 94 we have been interacting a lot, and it's great. We would like to now go to Mr. Mishra, who may like to ask a question. Mr. Mishra, could you please, I'm not able to see your first name. Your number is coming in. Your number is coming for 91451. I think you have in the registration form by an overseas. Yeah. Could you please ask your question? Hello. Could you please ask your question? Hello. Hello. There seems to be, I think, sometimes this is what happens in the digital environment. We are just talking about the digital world, and the digital hands also sometimes they look entirely virtual. Going to Asthaimbi K. Asthaimbi K. Could you please unmute yourself to ask the question? Asthaimbi K. Could you please ask the question? No, I think let me quickly move, not able to get connected with. We have Ashwin Amrutkar who may like to ask a question. Ashwin, if I'm not wrong, from Pune, from one of our institution. Mr. Ashwin Amrutkar. Ashwin, could you please, we are connected, Ashwin?
Yes, ma'am. I'm connected, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Please.
Sir, I want what kind of precautions we have to take while using the social media, sir?
Well, the precautions I had already highlighted, if you recollect the slide where I talked about safety on the social media. So certain things like tip number one being the passwords. Passwords need to be long enough, secure enough. Secondly, in fact, the security settings, the privacy settings that are there, and the privacy settings, you need to make sure that all the right kind of controls are implemented. In fact, the post viewing and all should be generally friends. It should not be friends of friends. Friends only
Yes.
is what I recommend. And other than that, two-step verification is something that people generally miss about implementing two-step verification. They do implement two-step verification on email, but two-step
Yes.
verification on the social media is something that people generally give it a miss. So you should implement two-step verification with login alerts so that anybody who is trying to hack into your account or getting access to your account, you immediately get an alert that somebody is trying to get access to your account. One
Yes.
more thing
Yes.
that
Yes.
is one common feature is profile picture guard. It's
Yes.
generally
Yes.
in Facebook. Some other social media applications are also now having this feature wherein you can protect your display picture. Many times what we have
Yes.
seen is even the display pictures are taken by the criminals, they morph it and then they misuse. Generally it happens with girls, and women. So you can protect that making use of the profile picture guard, and then in that case your profile gets completely locked. So you have to basically lock your profile so that no stranger gets access to the profile from any corner. So that's what, and every feature is there. It's already there in majority of the applications that people are generally using. So make sure that you implement all of them. I mean, at least the relevant, whatever is relevant in your case, you implement all those features.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Thank you. We have Mr. Ashutosh Raut who may like to ask a question. Mr. Ashutosh Raut, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question to our speaker? Mr. Ashutosh, yes, Ashutosh, please unmute yourself. I have unmuted you from here. Mr. Ashutosh Raut, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Yes, Ashutosh. Again, it got disconnected. Ashutosh, once last time, please kindly unmute yourself and ask the question quickly. Now it's a time for me to mute him. So Ashutosh, you may have to come again. We will now go to our next. Yes, I have a pleasure now in requesting Dr. Charu Prakashe, our Assistant Director at NICD, to please kindly ask the question. Dr. Charu, could you please unmute yourself? Yes,
Hello, can
Dr.
you hear me?
Charu? Yes, very much, very much,
Yes,
very
Okay.
much.
Thank you so
NCDC,
much for
firstly, Charu, it's NCDC. NICD was a previous name. That is
yes.
National Center for, yeah. So NCDC, the premier body who has been taking care of, offering the entire support to the country in fighting for Corona, and and Madam
Yes.
Dr. Charu is the one, who has really been working very hard, in making the things, easier for our Indian population. Thank you very much, Dr. Charu. It's indeed a profound privilege for me to have you today, with us on this webinar. And your presence has truly, truly greatly been, admired. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you,
Charu.
ma'am. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to
Thank
meet you. It's really a pleasure to meet you.
you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Sangeeta, for your very kind words. I'm an
Thank you.
additional director at NCDC, and we are very, very frontline in the COVID-19 situation. I have two questions for you, Captain Vineet, and they might be very, like lay person's questions because I'm not a technical person in this aspect. One is that when we travel to other countries for meetings, at the reception desk, they ask for our credit card, and everybody hands over their credit cards. So, how can we avoid that?
Ma'am, it's
That
generally what I do is I simply say no, I don't have a credit card. the best way to avoid is, otherwise they would say that in order to actually consume minibars and all, you need to have a kind of a deposit done. So that is one thing that generally you can straight away say no at that kind of a situation. Other than that, I don't see any possible solution that is there. The other thing you can do is, generally some of the credit card companies, I haven't used it myself, but just have heard, I'm just sharing the solution, is you can lock your cards. For example, if you're traveling abroad, you can just simply lock your card and enable it once you're back in India. In that case, in fact, if any of the transactions happen, or one more solution is virtual credit card. So you can have a virtual credit card of a particular amount. It could be, say, for 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, and then swipe that particular card into the POS machine. In that case, that particular card gets blocked and not your original card. So you can try this solution. In fact, you can get these virtual credit cards at the airport. That actually secures you from using your actual credit card at that hotel level. But these are the solutions that I see available as of now. And
One more question, if I may.
Please kindly.
Normally, yeah, for our computers, we have the antivirus that we put in. What about our phones? I mean, how can we secure our phones more by having some kind of an antivirus solution for it?
Ma'am, it's a very important question, and I would say phone should be secure. In fact, phone has more data and more processing capability nowadays than a computer. So you definitely need to secure it, and similar kind of solutions are available for phone. If you talk about internet security application, there are many applications like we have Quick Heal internet security application that is available for phone. Quick Heal mobile security, if you search on the Play Store, they have a free version, they have a paid version. So depending on what kind of feature you want to have, you can enable the free version. Free version is very basic, just it scans your basically phone for any kind of malicious APK. But for example, if you need many real-time protection with maybe firewall capability inbuilt so that nobody gets access to your phone from outside, you need to probably have a premium version and pay a particular amount. That also gives you some of the additional features, like you mentioned, you travel abroad. Once you travel abroad, in fact, any kind of activities that you do can be risky. Many countries actually do kind of a surveillance also on the kind of activities, and if you are in a critical sector, sometimes they spy you, and there are plenty of things that happen of that kind. So some of the advanced internet security application, they also give the feature of a virtual private network. So what you can do is you can just enable a VPN in your phone. The same antivirus application will have the VPN feature, and you can securely communicate back home. So these are some additional features that you get after paying a particular amount. Quick Heal internet security is one of them because it's Indian, so I'll recommend Quick Heal first. Other than that, you have Avast internet security, Kaspersky internet security. There are many such applications that are available on the internet. You just need to download it, pay the particular amount, or use the free version, and that's how you can safeguard your phone.
If we connect our phone with a USB line to the computer, can the computer antivirus help us keep the phone safe?
Not the phone entirely, ma'am. At the max, in fact, if the phone detects your storage device, the USB device, it can scan your USB device, but there's still a lot of files which it does not scan. So in that case, we would recommend installing an application on your phone and not just plugging into a USB and then scanning it. But the right suggestion would be to install antivirus application in your phone, because that protects you from real-time threats. Any type of threat that you get inside. For example, if anybody sends a WhatsApp message to you, the WhatsApp message, even there has been some advanced attacks where GIF, the good morning messages are embedded with malware. And if you open that good morning message, you open that JPG, automatically a malware gets installed. So in such scenarios, if you connect your PC, your phone to a computer, the damages would be done by that time. You need to protect your phone real time. As soon as the malware comes, it should block that attempt. So that's why that's the reason you have an antivirus application. In fact, an internet security application in your phone rather than scanning from the computer.
Thank you so very much. And thank you, Sangeeta, for giving me so
It's a
much.
great honor, great pleasure, great pleasure. Wanted to see you, and looking forward to, and you are the one, who are going to take us out, of this very soon. And
Yes,
we are
yes,
going
yes.
to
We will
meet,
try.
in, in our personal spaces too.
Yes,
Thank you so
yes.
much, Dr.
Perfect.
Charo.
Thank
Grateful to
you.
you,
And
ma'am,
thank
for
you,
joining
Captain
us.
Vinny.
Thank you. It has
Thank
really, really have meant a lot, to us. Thank you so very much. And only I
thank
could
you.
say that, this USB device connecting our mobiles on that, as you said, because if by any chance, if the port is infected, means if the system is infected, you have more greater chances that, even your device, your mobile phone will in turn will get,
Right,
not to use, the USB ports of the systems, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, and to get connected our mobile phones, especially for this
right,
thing, because unless and until we are dead sure about it, that it's a quite a safe, exercise to do. Thank you
right,
very
right.
much. Indeed, much grateful to you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you
you.
indeed.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. And just wondering, in fact, Captain Vineet, that we may like to hold a special session, as you were saying about the healthcare, because Madam
Right.
leading, NCDC, and, and we have large number of medical hospitals. Even when we think about DELNET, we have more than 1,000 medical hospitals which are connected with us, on our network. So we will be happy to, do a very exclusive thing, for the healthcare, especially because that's where, in today's day and time, the kind of a work, and also safeguarding, as you have rightly pointed it out to Mrs. Sheetal Deshpande. So if we can do something, maybe we'll work out something to do exclusively something that would be a small little, a thing that we can offer, to the great work, that all of them, the entire community is, engaged with. So we can think about, doing something exclusively for that. We have Ratna Kumari, no one, we have Chava Ratna Kumari. This is the third time trying to get connected with her, and she's raising her digital hands again and again. Chava Ratna Kumari, please unmute yourself. On the right hand side, you get this unmute button. Just click onto it and get connected. I'm feeling really restless because we want to get connected with you. You have been trying, to ask your question. Otherwise, use the chat box, Ratna, because I could feel that you're not able to unmute yourself. So please use the chat box. We have Mr. Devendra Singh Chauhan who may like to ask a question. Mr. Devendra Singh Chauhan. Devendra, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Mr. Devendra Singh Chauhan. No, Devendra is not able to get connected. We have Dr. H.S. Govardhan Swami. Dr. H.S. Govardhan Swami. Yes, Dr. Swami, we are connected.
Yeah, madam. Good evening, madam. I am Dr. Govardhan Swami, Professor and Head of Civil Department from GM Institute of Technology, Davangere, Karnataka. Actually, I wanted to ask a question on installing, having installed licensed antivirus softwares like Ukil and all, and how the hackers will do, how these websites will, come into the dangerous situation. That question I wanted to ask. But previous madam already asked that question, and Captain Vineet sir given the answer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for connecting.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Swami. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. That's also, Vineet, one of the, quite a misconception that if we have an antivirus, it's safe enough, So it's,
Right.
Everyone feels that we have got an antivirus and nothing more can happen, So I think that also we have to sensitize our professionals, more about it. Dr. Rekha
Right.
Chauhan may like to ask a question. Dr. Rekha Chauhan. Dr. Rekha, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Dr. Rekha Chauhan. Dr. Rekha, could you please unmute yourself? I'm so, Dr. Rekha, I unmuted you and then, yes, Dr. Rekha?
Hello. Yeah,
Yes?
ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Rekha. Yeah, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I just want to know about how we can do the implementation of cyber security in our institute. as you have explained the ways, but on our own level.
Right, ma'am. So, in fact, one is like I mentioned, following, I mean, spreading a word about it. Cyber hygiene awareness about cybersecurity awareness needs to be done. Awareness among students need to be done. For that, there are a lot of materials that are there. All you need to do is probably download those materials. It's there on our website. In fact, through DELNET, in fact, we'll be very happy to share the entire repository with you, the entire books that we have created, so you can take that. In fact, Ministry of IT also has created a repository under the IACA project, which can be used, and word can be spread among the students, because majority of the attacks that happen, in fact, is because somebody in the network compromises your safety. The major attacks, generally it has been seen as a pattern, in fact, that the students were unaware, they clicked on a phishing link. For some of the professors, in fact, some university, we saw that, in fact, just while researching, they came across a link and then clicked on that, and that led to the compromise of the entire internal network. So that's big one. You should definitely start off by, if your university or an institute where you come from does not have a cybersecurity policy in place, you should have at least a policy in place, so that you are aware about what needs to be done. Maybe a certain number of audits, say quarterly audits, need to be done. Penetration testing exercises needs to be done to check how secure the network is. So all that needs to be incorporated in a form of a policy, and then implementation of the policy at the ground level is required, which talks about hygiene, talks about security audits. It also talks about maybe starting some courses. I mean, many universities now, they're reaching out to us and suggesting that if you could start some co-branded courses, like a short-term diploma, or maybe a proper BTech program in cybersecurity with a specialization, BTech in computer science with specialization in cybersecurity, MTech in cybersecurity. So these kinds of programs could also be initiated. So these are some of the basic stuff that I see here, through which you can probably create a kind of a secure environment in the university. In fact, talking about the end users, the students, the professors, even the administration, they also need to be aware about security, because maximum number of times when we have seen there have been attacks which have been mounted to a vice chancellor, his office, through his office, because that's what his or her office criminal aims to get access to all the confidential records and then cause damage to the institution. So basic, I would say, cyber hygiene needs to be maintained, and for that all the materials they are available. You just need to have somebody nodal in your institution, or somebody, some dedicated person who can take on this thing, maybe in the form of a club, in the form of activities. And always remember, do's and don'ts don't work much. So you should plan kind of a awareness activity wherein people engage in the activities in their own language, rather than just putting posters on the premises mentioning that password should be secure. That's one way, but that's not an effective way. Probably in the form of exercises or some mock drills or something like that. Simulation exercises is something that people generally learn about this online safety and also cyber security. I hope I answered you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Captain Vineet. We have Kamini who may like to ask a question. Kamini, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Myself, Kamini from RDC Business. Sir, I ask a small question. If any person use one or more email address with same password, that's it secure or not? In case password is more complex, use colon, semicolon, comma, etc.
So as I understood you correctly, ma'am, in fact, you have a common password for all the emails, correct? The password would be maybe a secure password, or maybe a very long password with the right use of uppercase, lowercase, special characters, but it's common among all emails. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So I would say that still is an insecure way of handling things. We would advise probably using different passwords for different emails at least, because the thing is, I'll share with an experience. In fact, in one of the cases, what we encountered was, in fact, there was one person working in a very key department in Government of India, And what that person did was he had the same password for his personal ID as well as his official ID. And his personal ID, in fact, the email got breached. In fact, it was not just his email, but the entire database was breached, and criminals actually got access to his credentials. Using the same credentials, they were able to log in into his official network, official email. So we would suggest keep separate password or separate password for your personal use, for your personal emails, and separate for the official email, and not to mix. Like you might have a social media password which is different, but I would not recommend using the same password for emails also, because damages can increase. For example, if your social media gets compromised, people can use the same password credentials to probably access your other networks. Or maybe there are other forms also wherein people deploy keyloggers or different kinds of mechanisms to capture your password. So any place where your password gets compromised, the same password could be further used to cause damages to you and get access to your other emails and networks. So I
Thank you
hope
very much, Captain Vineet. Thank you, Mr. Tarseem Lal. I'm so sorry, Vineet, for keeping you on hold, but we don't really, because we don't want that our attendees to miss out this opportunity to have their queries resolved. Mr. Tarseem Lal would like to ask a question. Mr. Tarseem Lal ji, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Mr. Tarseem Lal? We are not able to get connected with him. Let me just go for our next one. I'm just sifting through. We have Pinali Durga Gayatri who would like to ask a question. Pinali Durga Gayatri, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Pinali Durga Gayatri, it's just like a roll call. So, I'll just say twice or thrice and then we'd move if you're not able to unmute yourself. Nirmala Kumar Dash. Can I request Nirmala Kumar Dash to please unmute yourself? Yes, Nirmala, we are.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
I'm
evening. Good
from
evening.
Odisha in Swami College of Engineering Technology. Ma'am, I have a question.
Please.
When you install antivirus, can that completely secure in our system or not?
Captain Vineet, Nirmal wants to know if you're installing antivirus, is it completely secured or not?
No. Antivirus is not such like I had mentioned earlier also, antivirus protects your computers from viruses that come in. But you need to also secure your system from any of the outside attacks that happen. For that, you need a firewall also. So maybe if you have a combination of a firewall and an antivirus put together, it can protect you from majority of the attacks. But antivirus alone is not enough. You need to have a complete bundle like an internet security package, which is a combination of an antivirus, of a firewall, of an intrusion detection system. Maybe now there are many new things that are arriving like anti-ransomware, anti-malware, and everything inbuilt. So you need to opt for that rather than just antivirus if you're looking for a complete secure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now requesting Nidhi Thakur. Nidhi, you have raised your digital hand. If you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask the question quickly. Nidhi Thakur. Nidhi, could you please unmute yourself if you want to ask the question? Let me unmute now, Nidhi, and just quickly. So now the final one again from A to Z, Baljinder Kaur. Baljinder, could you please, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and you can ask your question, Baljinder. Baljinder Kaur. No. So let me move ahead. Bhuvneshwari Jonia. Bhuvneshwari Jonia, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Bhuvneshwari, yes, we are connected. Bhuvneshwari, ask your question to
Yes.
Captain Vineet.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Actually, I wanted to know one thing. Actually, I was affected by these network online issues, sir. One time, one ordnance factory person only give the link that online I'm talking in Hindi. ऑनलाइन में ऐसा ही एक एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म के लिए आया था सर. So I asked my daughter to put the application. Within 2 days, that website was absconded. So such a type of problems, most of the parents, most of the children, because those who are finding a job, they are facing so much problems. This though nobody tell in front of others because they are cheated by somebody else. So somewhere else कुछ तो शर्म के बारे में किसी को नहीं बोलते, but so many cases are there sir. I was also maybe एक बार ऐसा 2000 rupees एकदम exact गवर्नमेंट का सर्टिफिकेट and प्रधानमंत्री का योजना symbols, everything was there in that letter. So I asked, inquired so many persons. They told हाँ such a type of योजना is there. I फोटो भी कर मैंने उनको व्हाट्सएप में भी सेंड कर पूछी थी फर्स्ट. So they told हाँ yes such a type of, but within 2 days then the phone number was not working. Such a type of crimes बहुत है सर. इसके लिए करना, how can we identify these sites? How can we find out sir? This is very actually most of the persons are affected.
I do understand, and in fact that's what in our research also what we have found मैम कि इस तरह के बहुत सारे sites हैं जो कि चल रहे हैं और आम जनता जो normal लोग हैं, those who are new to technologies, वो भी suffer कर रहे हैं because of this. तो लेकिन अभी challenge ये है कि कुछ हमारे पास ऐसे sites हैं जो कि identify करते हैं, कुछ private initiatives हैं, जैसे कि मैं बताया कि alt news और इस तरह की वेबसाइट है जो कि कॉन्स्टेंटली ऐसे वेबसाइट जो फॉल्स इंफॉर्मेशन डाल रहे हैं, या कुछ इस तरह के इंफॉर्मेशन साइट्स जैसे मैंने आपको दिखाया केबीसी स्कैम आपने सुना होगा कि बीच में कौन बनेगा करोड़पति स्कैम आया था कि आप केबीसी में शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गए, आप केबीसी के विनर हैं और आपको इतना से 3,000 या 5,000 नॉमिनल अमाउंट ले रहे थे टू कम टू केबीसी और बहुत लोगों ने पैसे दिए और अल्टीमेटली ये भी हुआ था कि केबीसी की टीम, इनफैक्ट अमिताभ बच्चन जी ने एक अवेयरनेस मैसेज भी डाला था कि ऐसे नहीं करने. बहुत सारे जॉब स्कैम्स अभी आज मैंने स्क्रीनशॉट में भी दिखाया किस तरह के स्कैम्स चल रहे हैं. बट अभी चैलेंज ये है कि आप मैक्सिमम अभी रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं इन चीजों को. आप गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को नेशनल साइबर क्राइम रिपोर्टिंग पोर्टल में, आई एम सॉरी लेकिन मैं एक ही चीज बोल रहा हूँ कि अभी रिपोर्टिंग मैकेनिज्म हमारे पास ये अवेलेबल है. दूसरा, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स में आप साइबर सेल्स, साइबर थाना है, वहां पे आप जाके रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं ऐसे केसेस को. बट कोई साइट नहीं है जहां पे आपको पूरा आ जाएगा कि ये कौन कौन से साइट्स पे ऐसे इंफॉर्मेशन चल रहे हैं. एक आपको थोड़ा बहुत सिक्योरिटी एक्सपर्ट का बेसिक आपको नॉलेज होना होगा सिक्योरिटी का कि आप कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें कि ये साइट जेन्युइन है कि फेक है. तो वैसे कुछ साइट्स है जहाँ पे आप जा करके आप पता लगा सकते हैं, बट एक ऐसे इंफॉर्मेशन साइट नहीं है जहाँ पे एक चीज कॉन्स्टेंटली अपडेट करता है. मे बी कुछ टाइम में आ जाएगा बट एट दिस मोमेंट ऐसा नहीं है. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, कंप्लेंट्स जरूर करें क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम जो हम देखते हैं लोगों में कि कंप्लेन नहीं करते हैं. और ये मैं पहले भी हाईलाइट किया था कि अगर आपके साथ कुछ भी फ्रॉड, अगर 500 रुपए भी कटे हैं, यू शुड गो एंड रिपोर्ट एंड शेयर. क्योंकि आप अगर उस आईपी या आप उस पर्टिकुलर वेबसाइट का डिटेल शेयर करते हैं तो फाइनली पुलिस उसको टेकअप करती है, पुलिस उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करती है और जो भी क्रिमिनल गैंग उसे रन कर रहा है उसको पकड़ती है. और बहुत सारे गैंग्स बस्ट हुए हैं इंडिया में, एक दो नहीं, मतलब बहुत सारे. अभी दिल्ली पुलिस ने जस्ट कुछ दिन पहले एक बड़ा गैंग को बस्ट किया था. तो साइबर सेल्स भी अब धीरे धीरे बहुत ही एग्रेसिव हो रहे हैं और इस चीजों का भी जल्दी से जल्दी सॉल्व किया जा रहा है. सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू रिपोर्ट, and National Cybercrime Reporting Portal being one. Other than report to your nearest cyber cell, cyber thana is in every district today. और बहुत सारे स्टेट्स हैं जो कि साइबर क्राइम की रिपोर्टिंग स्टेट लेवल पे, स्टेट के स्तर पे भी उसे वो ऑनलाइन किए हुए हैं. तो आप उनके पोर्टल पे भी जाके रिपोर्ट कर दें. एंड आई एम श्योर एक्शन, मे बी एक्शन रिस्पॉन्स इज नॉट दैट क्विक टुडे, बट धीरे धीरे अब रिस्पॉन्स जो टाइम हो रहा है वो अब धीरे धीरे, पुलिस इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कैपेसिटी जो हो रहा है पुलिस का बिल्ड हो रहा है, तो अब जल्दी रिस्पॉन्स आपको मिलेगा और रिलीफ लोगों को मिलेगा. और अगर ऐसे कोई विक्टिम्स आप एज एनजीओ, क्योंकि मैं अपने एनजीओ को भी यहाँ पे पिच करना चाहूंगा कि एज एनजीओ हम लोग भी मदद करते हैं ऐसे विक्टिम्स को. हमारे हेल्पलाइन पे केसेस आते हैं और क्योंकि हम लोग भी कनेक्टेड हैं फेसबुक के साथ, गूगल के साथ, उनके साथ हम काम करते हैं और यूट्यूब के साथ काम कर, यूट्यूब के हम लोग इंडिया में ट्रस्टेड फ्लैगर्स हैं कि किसी के पास कुछ इस तरह के गलत वीडियोस आए तो वो हमारे पास रिपोर्ट करते हैं और हम यूट्यूब को लिखते हैं उस वीडियो को हटाने के लिए और इमीडिएट एक्शन लेने के लिए. तो आप हमें भी रीच आउट कर सकते हैं। इनफॉर्मली हम लोग भी कोशिश करके बहुत केसेस में लोगों को मदद की है और हेल्प की है, जहाँ पे लोग ओके नहीं थे पुलिस के पास जाने के लिए और एक फॉर्मल रिपोर्ट दायर करने के लिए। तो आप प्लीज रीच आउट टू अस आल्सो इफ यू फील अगर किसी केस में हम आपको असिस्ट कर पाए।
Thank you very much for such an exhaustive reply, and I'm pretty sure Vineet के ये बहुत हमारे अपने ही attendee होंगे जो पूछना चाहते थे लेकिन नहीं पूछ पाए, and you have put a rest to all their queries. So thank you so very much for very exhaustive, elaborate reply. I'm requesting Baljinder Kaur. Baljinder, please kindly unmute yourself. You can quickly just take. We'll just going to take this is the second last question. Which we are now requesting for. Baljinder, could you please unmute yourself to ask the question? Baljinder, this is the final call for you. Please, unmute yourself to ask the question. No, Baljinder is having a difficulty. Let me lower her digital hand, and just going now to Devinder Kumar. Devinder, one attempt I'm going to make again to you to get connected with you. Mr. Devinder Kumar, please unmute yourself. I think Devinder again is having an issue. You can always drop us an email if you want any queries. You can write to Captain Vineet at vineet@cyberpeace.net. We are taking now, this is the second last question from Kasimani C. Mr. Kasimani, could you please unmute yourself and quickly ask your question? Mr. Kasimani is not able to do that. I have muted him. Karthik Bagade. Karthik, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Yes, Karthik, we are connected. Quickly ask your question, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, very well, Karthik. Yeah, please.
Right. Thank you for taking my question. So my question is, how do organizations decide which level of security to aim for? Because security is all about like only a certain amount of certainty is there towards certain attacks. So how do companies decide, okay, we're going to stop at this level because this much is enough for our industry?
Right. So I would give a very simple answer, Karthik. The answer is companies generally check for their risk appetite. I mean, if the risk appetite of taking risk is large, then in that case, they have minimal control. If the appetite of taking risk is low, they have a very enormous and elaborate control. Having said that, but there are constraints. When you talk about a startup, when you talk about SMEs, they have very limited budget. They have an operational budget, and security is taken as an overhead. So what they generally do is have minimalistic controls. Just for example, having IDS in place and everything. And cybersecurity policy also, many organizations, it's just a tick mark for them. So they have policies in place. Just for the compliance sake, they have ISO 27001. That's a tick mark. They have policies in place. They get some few audits done. But actually, I mean, it's all because they have limited budget. So they are just doing things on the paper. The things are not that proactive. But if you see some large scale industries who actually do a lot of operations on the digital world, where the entire model, their business is digital, and they have a lot of critical data. They store a lot of personally identifiable information, customer related information. For them, risk appetite is actually very low. It's, and they actually invest quite a lot on the security measures. In fact, one of the companies you might be aware, Target, in fact, the CEO of that company had to resign because of the hack that happened. That was the scenario. So after this incident, many companies have started taking the security very seriously, and they assess the risk. They assess the risk that they have, and accordingly they invest in the security control. So investments have gone high, but still the investments are low in cases of startups and SMEs because of the limited budget that they have. They just treat security as an overhead, whereas the other companies, they do assess and then they deploy the solutions, whether it ranges from IDS, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention systems, UTMs, firewalls, web application firewalls. There are too many things when you talk. So even deploying a honeypot, for example, to get a dynamic situational awareness about the attacks that are happening in your network. So that depends on company to company, their priorities, the data that they hold, and also the management, the board. Because now, in fact, there's some level of sensitization that has come to the board also on whether what kind of investment they need to make in terms of developing the team, hiring cybersecurity experts in the team. Now there is some level of awareness. I mean, in the past, if you talk about maybe 5 years before, there was, I mean, cybersecurity was just taken as maybe a burden on the investment and an overhead, and not something that the companies are bound to do. But the things are changing now.
Thank you, Vineet. Thank you so much. Once again, I could see that, the more you are giving them the replies, and the more I could see that their hands are, they're raising their hands to us because they really want to get all the clarities, to get cleared. Vaishali Malik. Vaishali, please unmute yourself quickly and ask your question to our very distinguished speaker. Vaishali Malik, at least have a very quick, Vineet, you have a quick glass of water, Yeah.
That's fine. I'll
Just
take it.
second last question we are into. Vaishali Malik. Vaishali, please unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. No, she's not able to do that. Let me now go to the this is, I think, going to be the last one. Satish Ghorpode. Satish Ghorpode. Satish, I'm requesting you to please unmute yourself. Satish, please unmute yourself quickly and ask your question. Mr. Satish Ghorpode. Satish, could you please unmute yourself? He's not able to do that. So let me just, and this is the very final look at anyone. Baljinder, you are connected right now. Hello. Hello. Hello, Baljinder. I think there is an issue with her, though being connected, but still she was not able to, speak. Dr. Rekha, no, this is, I think, going to be the M. Sujatha. This is going to be the last attempt to reach M. Sujatha. Sujatha, could you please unmute yourself and quickly ask your question? Yes, we are connected, Sujatha. Sujatha, we are connected. Could you please ask your question? I think she is not able to do that, though it was blinking. Murugan Gopal. Mr. Murugan Gopal, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Mr. Murugan Gopal.
Yeah, good evening for both of you, madam and sir.
Please, very quickly ask your question.
Yeah. Sir, is there any method of having ethical hacking methods or websites to attack a particular website? There are various ethical hacking procedures. Is there any particular ethical hacking methods to ethically hack a particular website or database? To aware how hackers are able to hack the data in that aspects, is there any particular apps or websites to ethically hack a particular sites or databases?
There are actually companies, there are startups, there are independent consultants who give you the service of maybe doing a pen testing. You may call it as ethical hacking. I'll call it as security expert. I call it a security auditing, pen testing, source code auditing. There are a lot of things. When you say ethical hacking, the word is small, but the scope is quite big. And for that, you have different agencies, different individuals who opt for this service. You can reach out to them, and they would be very happy to conduct these audits. Just as, and then there are categories of audits also. You have categories there's a process of doing a white box audit. A white box is where you share the IPs, you share everything with the company or the consultant. They do the complete audit. There's the black box audit where you don't share any information with them and just tell them you hack. I mean, there's no scope. You just do what a hacker could do and what kind of access they can get access to. And the third one is a gray box, which is a combination of white box plus black box, which is called as gray, where you share partial information and then you leave the others for the actually security experts to identify. So all these services are available. You can reach out to organizations, individuals. You can reach out to us also. We also have been helping certain organizations in testing for the security. We identify the gaps, plug the gaps, and share the report with them. So it's all a service that is available for you to access.
Thank you very much, Vineet. And this is the very last question. It's a rapid fire round. Nidhi Thakur is there. Nidhi, you have raised your digital hand twice. So once again, an attempt. We are connected, Nidhi. A very quick question to our
Uh,
speaker.
Good
We have not
evening,
given
ma'am.
him a chance even to have a glass of
Good
water. So
evening, ma'am.
quickly. Good evening. Good evening,
Good
Nidhi. Ask
evening,
your
ma'am.
question.
Sir, how can we provide our phone good kind of security which cannot hacked by anyone else?
Okay, so phone, you are talking about phone security, and something that
Yeah.
I had mentioned during my talks, certain things. One is you need to regularly update your apps in the phone, whatever app, whether you are downloading a VLC player or to just watch the videos or the movies, you need to update that. You need to update the firmware. Firmware is like the operating system, whether it is Android or Apple, you need to update that on a regular basis. Any update that comes, you should immediately install that update. You should have locks in your phone, pattern lock or passcode lock. That should always be there, because just in case if you drop your phone somewhere, that phone can be accessed by any of the criminals and misused. Apps, sensitive apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, or any of these messenger apps that you're using, they offer a particular security measure to lock that particular app. So you can lock these applications also, so that nobody else can get access to. If you give your phone to somebody to make a call or an emergency call, make sure that you are standing close to that person, because again, there has been a lot of cases that were reported that within seconds the entire phone was cloned using a simple hack. So make sure what the other person is doing, what access he is doing. So you need to be very watchful. You need to have internet security application in place. I did mention about that just a few moments back, and you must have heard it. So internet security application should always be there in your phone. Plus, beware of clicking on any random links, any of these lottery links, any of these images that come to you from stranger saying hello to you or sharing a message. So be extremely careful. Just delete those messages rather than going and clicking on these messages. So some of the safety tips that you can follow, rest all it's there. In fact, we'll be sharing the resources which will teach you step by step on how to safeguard your phone. Sangeeta ma'am will be sharing that with you, so you can just follow that video and keep your phone safe.
You should have a deep breath firstly, Captain Vineet, for for last 3 hours. You have been just like thank you. Thank you is a
No,
very small expression, no
my
vocabulary to really convey what I really mean by saying that. May God bless you and give you, energy and abundance, to keep on doing such a good, sensitizing it, making someone aware, making them, aware about the vulnerabilities, this is God bless you. That's what, Captain Vineet, I can say, and also to your entire team who are working relentlessly for educating the masses about securing their own selves. And it has been a great honor and pleasure for DELNET and for CPF in joining hands together in doing this webinar, which was scheduled for an hour. And the interest that it has generated is well witnessed, that this has lasted for 3 hours. No space given to you at all, even to, So thank you so very much. Indeed, much grateful to you, and also your genuine desire to make someone. It's not just simply that you have that shows the vision, that shows the mission that you have, just like the way that we work in DELNET. There's so many common grounds, and that's the reason I think why we always feel great bonding with you and the entire team at CPF for nurturing the organization. Also, you have done it. You're doing it so wonderfully. May God bless you, and you continue, to do this great work for the society around. It has been a great honor for both DELNET and CPF to have organized this webinar. We thank each one of our participants, for making this afternoon a very special day, wherein we have deliberated, at length. And all of you who have been very, very, participative with your questions that you have. And it's not only that you have got the knowledge for your own self, but also for the entire group. And we will be happy enough to share, the video link. Along with that, also, as Captain Vineet has said, few more, things that you would like to, keep it with you for, and also try to spread that across. So I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the team at CPF, Mrs. Shimoni Prasad, and also other colleagues, and also my own colleagues, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami, as well as Ranjana, who has been working, for making this webinar to get it happen today. Thank you very much, Captain Vineet. Thank you, each one of you. It has been a great honor and pleasure for CPF and DELNET to have organized this webinar, and we really look forward to many more such opportunities to come. We wish you the very best, the best of the times in 2021. Wishing you well in advance a very happy new year from the entire team of DELNET and Cyberpeace Foundation, and let's pray that we get many more opportunities, to interact, in the new year. It's over to you, Captain Vineet, for giving a final remarks for this.
Thank you, ma'am. And it was really my pleasure to be here interacting. Maybe through one webinar, we have reached people here in India and also Bhutan. So that was one good thing. And people from, from Delhi to, in fact, south, from east, west, north, south, people have joined in. And the level of questions, in fact, I was just waiting for the questions to get over. I mean, so many questions that were lined up, and it was really a happy moment for me to responding all these questions and queries, because that's what we feel as Cyberpeace Foundation. That's our primary job, to secure individuals and organization. And this is a small bit. We're just contributing a drop in the entire ocean, and we need many more people who can be the ambassadors for Cyberpeace. Probably people like them, they can spread the message further, in fact, in their networks, in their circles. So I would request everyone, those who are here, still here, I request all of you to spread the same awareness message, spread about the issues, spread about the safety measures that we have discussed today on the call with your family, with your near and dear ones, and keep yourself safe. And especially now that we are stepping into the new year, obviously 2020 has been heavy for all of us, but 2021 definitely brings a ray of hope. Now that we have some announcement on the vaccine, things are looking on the brighter side here in the 2021. But having said that, be extremely careful, because holidays are on, cyber criminals are also around. So keep yourself safe and secure in the cyberspace. With this, I'd like to end. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me.
It's a
here. It's
pleasure.
really a pleasure to be here.
Thank
You,
you,
ma'am.
Vineet. God bless you. And thank you, each one of you, for making this special day a very, very special for both CPF and DELNET. And thank you so very much. Stay happy, stay blessed, and we wish you the very best. Thank you so much. We do look forward to having you back again in the DELNET webinars. And we are highly, highly grateful to the presence of each one of you and for your time. Thank you very much, Vineet. God bless you. All the very best. May God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.